so I'm safe on.
They're gonna get rid of Astaroth one day.
No, they won't.
But Astaroth just takes breaks. Just like
He's gonna
Tyra.
go away sooner or later.
The next game, he'll be day one DLC. Don't worry, Shadow.
Yeah, like Tira.
Exactly. I don't have to worry about that.
And it's the fucking worst thing because like
never
half
get
the
it.
people don't care about Tira, and then the other half are like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Well, it's just I just always hate the premise of day one DLC because it's like, you know what? At that point,
It's worse than fighting
just
games.
look. You know, I don't care. It's like my opinion on it has always been, okay, this character's done, but we can't give him away for free. Okay, you know what? Let's just sit on them for a month, and then we'll release them as if they just finished.
That's not what they're gonna do. That's not what they're
Makes
gonna do at all.
more sense. Doesn't make you look as much like a piece of shit.
They don't care. When Soul Calibur 5 came out, they're
Yeah, I
like,
know.
"How can we make money?" And we're like, "Well, we release a better game," and then everyone laughed because you know they did 5. So then when Soul Calibur 6 came out and 5 flopped on its face and was dead within a month, basically like all the servers were fucking barren, could hardly find a match. After that happened, I'm sitting there fucking in the one lobby. And I'm like, alright, this game's done. I threw it away, never touched it again, never wanted to touch it again. I was playing Soul Calibur 4 for like half a year. Fucking 6, they're like, alright. 5 flopped, make it 6. Who are we gonna get? Geralt. Good pick, that's a good one. That's a good one. People like Geralt. He's cool, he works. He's not like Star Wars. He works.
No. Hey, Spawn was fucking awesome, okay?
Spawn worked. Link also worked very well. Link was another one that worked very well in the
Ezio worked.
universe. Ezio Ezio
no,
worked, but he was in the worst game, so.
Yeah. I mean, Link actually kind of
Best fighter.
Link again.
Yeah, actually, I agree.
Geralt and Link fits into the game appearance-wise.
Worst story though.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
absolute
Starkiller was fun gameplay-wise, and Darth Vader was also fun gameplay-wise. Yoda
That's like how
was
they
the best gameplay-wise, man.
Yoda was painful.
Yoda was the most fun to play.
Yeah, to play against people who didn't know how to fight Yoda, because half the moves would just miss. Over half the moves, like 80%. It was fun. It's a good time. Hi, baby Dio. How are you? So,
Some low hits actually missed, strangely enough. Which was really weird. Like,
Spacing, 'cause when he hit you, he knocked himself away.
You did a low kick, it would just miss, and you're like, why? He's so fucking small.
So they go into SoCal 6, and they're like, all right, we got this. All right. We're not going to say we have a bigger cast, but we've got the same cast, right? We've got, like, the same cast, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, who do we have that's just coming out? All right, we got Tira. Tira's just coming out. People like Tira. She's a good one. Not many people like her, but people.
I don't like her.
Let's put her in a corner and make people pay $10 for her. So the $60 game just became a $70. But if they get the season pass, value.
They get her, and they
just-
get 3 of our unnamed next characters coming out.
Which are probably just going to be old cast characters because there's still a ton.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to add many new characters in that game. I really don't.
Well,
They added
already
Zoslamel
it.
back, which was neat because they were missing him in 5, but now he's not black and he's white, and it's kind of weird.
Oh, they white-faced him.
Well, it's just weird because Zoslamel was cool because he had like a white hood and he was black underneath, so like he looked super fucking dark when he was under it, and he actually looked threatening. Now he's just kind of white, and it's like, You're not as threatening when you're in the same outfit, but he doesn't even have the same outfit, so I guess it doesn't matter. He was always cool because at the top of 4, you would get the Zoslamel, and he would be controlling the time in the tower and be like, And then above that, it's Abdul. A Pokemon fused with a fire stand user became a man on a chair. Can shoot things.
I mean, you know what? You're pretty close to Dio.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Dio spent a lot of time on his goddamn chair.
Yeah, like all Stardust Crusaders, basically.
Yeah.
And all of Phantom Blood, he spent in a coffin. Not Phantom Blood. All of Battle
Yeah, in Phantom Blood, he was walking up walls.
And going, "Uri," even though nobody does. Like he's the only vampire to do that.
Yep.
And it's like, did you just think that was cool?
Yeah,
did
it is cool.
It's cool to go Uri. Vampires should go Uri.
So you just walk up walls like it's nothing. Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome.
No, he goes Uri.
So,
Uri.
Oh,
Zamazel. Okay. First Grow.
who?
Zasalamel.
Who?
Zasalamel.
You're gonna have to tell me his weapon, dude.
Scythe.
Black dude with a scythe.
Okay.
Yeah, show. Oh man, gender bend Zoslamel. That's a hottie.
Oh, send that my way. I'll show where to put my scythe.
He was this guy. Zoslamel Soul Calibur.
I mean, he
Yeah.
could just go on YouTube, look up Soul Calibur, and find the stream.
And well, no, I'm just gonna. So that was his skin coloring beforehand, and this is it now. And it's just kind of like, he's not really black anymore. He's kind of like,
He's more like Indian-ish.
yeah, or Latino. Kind of looks Mexican
I'd say
now.
Latino. I'd say more Indian.
Before, it was very obvious he was either Egyptian or black Egyptian. You know, he was black. People could say that, but now he's just question mark.
That's gender bed Anubis.
I've seen better.
Ah, man.
Where's the dog
that ultimate is nice. Ooh, the snap.
Right. Let's go down. Okay. Sure you don't do any of my checks?
Oh no, I already did them earlier.
Okay.
Rudden, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Poison. With energy,
Down
go.
in the Franxx, or Doreen in Zuff, is I'll copy and paste that shit for you.
Sounds
Is
terrible.
a 2018 science fiction mecha anime co-produced by Studio Trigger and A1 Pictures. The series was announced by Trigger's Anime Expo in 2017 panel in July 2017. In a post-apocalyptic future, your young pilots fight against giant monsters known as Klaxors, using giant female robots known as. Their identities are
Giant genderless robots. How dare they assume those robots' genders?
Okay. Roles as blah blah blah. Yeah, right. I hate you. I was on such a good roll. With no personal freedom or knowledge of the outside world beyond the birdcage of quotation of something, I don't know that, or the mobile fortress of the plantation. When former prodigy hero becomes unable to pilot, he becomes filled with doubt and conflicted about his own worth. That doubt and confliction changes to resolve when he meets a strange girl named 02. ...
Boys, I'm gonna say again, I said with energy, but that's fine too. ...
It was all thanks to my interruption. Yes. Darling in the friends. Okay, you went with the foreign name. Rather than the name.
That's such a hard word because it breaks at Furon, and then it goes Kisu. So you gotta go Furon Kisu. Dari
Inza Faran Kisu. Okay.
German? Because that's not how they pronounce it in Japanese.
I don't know. I don't speak either of those languages. I cannot comment on the punctuation. I can just try and butcher it as properly as possible.
You've watched JoJo. You know what za means.
Za?
Yeah.
Za.
The.
Yeah, but
not
used in the same context.
Za.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
in
but
the same context.
I'm pretty sure there's a Japanese word for world that isn't world though.
I don't know about that, man. Come on now.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
fucking
gonna
proving
dick
you wrong.
around here for
Google.
Google Translate. Here we go.
Yep.
Google Translate on this. World.
You know you're just gonna
Pronounce
get
it.
like a Japanese character, right? You understand?
That's
this,
why
right?
you go for the pronunciation. In fact, I am.
Yep.
There's so many languages.
Into Japanese.
Sekai.
世界
Sekai. There you go. 24 more translations.
This is Japanese.
世界
People, public. This is the same for us. Oh god. Every time you fucking change that, it's a different thing. Alright. So. Generalized
Kelly
feelings
says,
on the show. Poison with energy.
Energy. I don't want energy. I work 48-hour week.
It's your own recommendation.
Yeah, but energy is hard to get. Okay, so wait, why don't we just go into the characters like we usually do, and we give
Well, usually we talk about a bit about how we
Yeah.
sometimes not 100% of the time, but usually. Do you not want to? Do you want to just get right into the characters?
No, okay, let's go at it with parts. Let's go from episode 1 to 6. And
Okay.
yeah,
Alright.
and how we like the characters at these parts, because they do. It's an it's really character driven until it gets to the weird episode 8, 19 and beyond.
Okay, good. At least you acknowledge the weird part.
Yeah, it gets
Good.
a little bit strange.
I mean, truthfully, that's where 80% of the characters get flushed out.
yeah,
You understand that, right? Like, most of these characters are just kind of like background noise.
because the main two characters.
That
Yeah.
was honestly one of my bigger gripes with the show is that for a while the side characters are so worthless. The show
Yeah,
is
and
about
then-
Hero, Zero Two, and Ichigo, and that's it.
And then my issue is how quickly they try to expand.
They
all
tried to
background.
force it,
Boom. Just out
and
of
for
nowhere,
characters
just
like
all
Mitsuru,
explode.
comes about 1,000 hours too late because you've already made up your mind that he deserves to get shotgunned, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
the explanation isn't even good. It's not even good. It's just
Yeah,
he's
I know.
holding something too seriously when he should have known something was up. And it's like, are you serious? That was your reason you acted the way you did.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, let's go through the arcs.
Uh,
Okay, first arc is introducing to the Franxx and our
Episode
first two
1,
battle.
we introduced to the beautiful world inside the dome.
Yeah. And not the Netflix series Inside the Dome.
I'm shocked
to know that.
anyone got that reference.
I get you, Reddit.
Okay. I'll
'Cause I
start off
didn't-
by reading the synopsis of the first episode. In the distant future, humanity is forced to reside inside massive fortresses and cities due to the fear of attack of giant monsters called Calaxosaurs. They're just misunderstood, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Calaxosaurs can only be fought by Frank. Which
Wait, he's not lying.
Okay, that can only be operated by male and female. Don't worry, the females do have ass handles so the men can get a good grip.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify
Safety.
that. They have to be working in unison.
It's for safety.
Yeah, no,
You don't
definitely,
want
man.
falling over.
You can't have his hand sliding off that round ass. Anyway, all right. So it starts off with Dr. Fran and Zero Two arriving in one such city. Had developed his latest Franxx. Hero is meanwhile has been left depressed after his testing to become a Frank pilot encountered Zero. After not being able to become a pilot. That was worded weird.
Also, before we get on to this, it's
Anything
gonna
about
peeve
that
me.
part, like about the beginning.
Is it gonna peeve me? How do you pronounce the robots they drive?
Franxx.
Franxx.
I thought you said Franks for just a second.
I probably did. And I'll be calling them Franz too.
Yeah, don't do that.
We called them 3 different things. So I've already planned this out. So,
Okay. This
what'd
episode
you-
I liked.
Okay, what do you think about the
Hey.
scene with him and Naomi?
Naomi?
Now?
Yes.
Oh.
Was that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was her name.
Partner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jeez,
One of the names I remembered.
She was forgettable. When she showed up at the end, I forgot her face.
Yeah.
And I was like, who? And then they're like, Naomi. And I'm like, Naomi, I
whoa,
fucking remember that name.
wait,
And I was
where
like,
are my
oh, it was that
notes?
one bitch. Didn't she die?
I actually took a note in this one.
How'd she live?
Oh, shit.
My biggest question was how she lived. I thought they were just lying to Hero the whole time. It's like, no, she actually lived. What? How? She just lost an
I
arm?
just
That
like-
looked like a pretty big explosion.
I don't know. In my opinion, with the way the show presented itself in the beginning, I just love how the first female character you learn the name of is Naomi, which is Imon backwards. I thought that was fucking hysterical. I know that's something I picked up on. It's like I went in with a super trashy mindset, and it just had me hysterical. Okay, I just couldn't help but laugh my ass off.
That was,
You're really into that one too.
I didn't
Miss Reza.
like.
I know.
With the
I don't
first
know. I
episode,
probably
I
am.
was
I just
fucking
know it's
zoned out.
funny.
See,
I
the
was
first
going
episode,
to-
I really think it gives like a basis for the 12
What?
episodes.
I don't think it does.
I
I
don't-
think the other ones
Here-
do much better.
I think this is literally mostly fan service. First episode.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's all garbage that doesn't need to be here.
this was a very shitty.
Because
first
I
episode. mean,
actually
literally-
later on genuinely love the character Zero too. But this
Yeah.
first episode is just so
you see,
awful. It made me
I love
hate her
it
right
and
off the
hate
bat.
I love and then hate her. But here, this is what I wrote. I wrote some notes about episode 1. Literally
Okay.
at 3 minutes, he says, "Oh my lord, it's a female parasite." At minute 4, she jumps out of the pool naked with a fish in her mouth. And by the 5th minute, she's already on some creepy face-licking fetish shit.
Yeah.
In the first episode, 5 minutes.
Well, also she killed a man too, but
And she didn't
Yeah,
kill
I
a
don't
man in the
care.
first 5 minutes. That man was dead beforehand.
okay,
Man,
let me
that-
phrase it.
That
She's
man
killed
was no, that
many
man was dead
men.
later.
He's killed
when
multiple
she
people
shows
before,
up
but that
and he's
wasn't
about to leave.
introduced to us yet. That wasn't introduced to us yet, though. That's
Yeah.
later on that's revealed. Literally in the first 3 minutes,
Hero
we
thinks
see
she
him-
just died.
see her. Yeah, we see her leave the ship, and 5 minutes later, she's licking his face ass naked. That's not how you introduce a show and not want to be called trashy.
Yeah.
Let's just accept that. I mean, that's not how you start a show.
Especially with the way their mechs look. Like
Yeah, no, that's not how you start the show. This
it's,
was like
it's
a
so
horrible
off
start
and
to
how
a
you
show.
have this setup and like how they pilot the ship, which later on I can sort of excuse, you know, but like right off the bat with these scenes, you lead into like one of the most garbage shows that I'm not going to care about in the least.
Yeah, it creates a very bad precedent for the show.
And the
literally
problem
in
is
the first
the
5 minutes.
Stampede mode design, which you see immediately in Strella Lisa, whatever the fuck. I'm going to call it Strel from now on because I'm not pronouncing the whole fucking thing. In Strel, is actually really fucking awesome. And she's the only one you ever see go Stampede.
No.
Kokoro almost does it, but gets stopped even though, you know, Strel gets knocked out and is still stampeding, but that doesn't... Whatever. We're just going to ignore that. It's just...
Well, no, she only goes stampeding when she accidentally
She's starting to go
kills her partners.
stampeding because Mitsuru is being a bitch. And she's like, well, alright, I'm going to fight then if you aren't. And then he knocks her off and he's like, no, you can't. I love you. And it's like, really? This is happening.
This is how you introduce this concept of this word you were never taught. Good job. Okay.
And it's just, and I'm going to do a rant later about Kokoro and how much of a bitch she is,
Also-
but hey.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
just to clarify, the Naomi thing was after the first 5 minutes. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that was literally the start of the episode, which is complete trash. I'm just going to clarify that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. The whole,
I
most of, like, 90% of the first episode is shit. That's the problem. That's, like, one of the biggest... It started me out in such an unbelievably negative vibe towards the show
I
that
couldn't
it
believe
took
how
a
this show got
while
so
to
popular.
recover. Like,
I
I would
couldn't
have already
believe how
been
this
done
show
with the
got
show
so-
before I recovered if it was normal
Yeah.
viewing.
No, I would never have watched more than this episode. I would have stopped at this point because it said
You did stop
it
at this
said-
point.
I didn't watch at this point. I never watched the show.
You just finished like a few minutes ago.
No, I finished watching the end the second time, sir.
I finished the
Anyways.
first episode a few minutes ago. I could talk about the whole shit.
a half ago, but I wanted to refresh it in my head since I had nothing else to do and I just got back.
Episode 2 pissed me off because it was like, oh, this is Gundam.
Okay,
This is just Gundam.
let's finish episode 1.
Yeah, we did. Kinda.
I mean, did anything else happen in episode 1 besides
He gets kicked out of the Franxx, and they're all, and it's all filler of how does it feel? Did you do good? What was it like? He's like, I don't know, I blacked out. And then they have these terrible teammates who are all like, how dare you pilot a Franxx before us? How fucking dare you?
That was fun.
And they're beating him, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What is honestly fucking wrong with these people?
They grew up in cages.
And their whole backstory is that they love him. And now that he's underperforming, and he's not getting kicked out, but he's sticking around, the only person who's like on his side is Ichigo, and everyone else is being spiteful and pissy and hateful towards him. It's like, fuck you! Fuck all of you! You expect me to like you?
I have a name for this. It's called full-time Magister syndrome. Okay, where the side characters have to hate the MC, regardless of how they really feel or anything that is happening. They have to show hatred for him. It's called full-time Magister syndrome.
It's also a part of
or Chinese crap.
Land of the Lustrous. Remember when she shit? They're all like, well, maybe she's better dead for a while. Maybe we should just leave her dead. And you come out and you're like, hey, because who's not okay with being dead? Me. Fuck you. Maybe you should be dead. Maybe you should go die because now I got this fucking golden shit. Maybe you should go fucking off yourself. I was told that you wanted to leave me for dead. Fuck you. Just leave. Next time you're out there, I ain't saving your fucking ass. Fuck you. Fuck off. Stupid fucking bitch. But in that excuse, in Land of the Lustrous,
and take you away.
They did, however, save her life a couple times before that. So it's a bit finer. But in here, it's just like, oh, we love you. Oh, we adore you. Fuck you. It's like, what the hell? Where is this? Like the moment that one little actiony kid, what is fuck his name? The one little excited kid is all like, that has the terrible looking pink mech. Ugh. But he's all like fucking, yeah. Oh, you can't believe you got to pilot. You're probably shit. You should deserve to go dead because you don't have anything. He's getting up in his face like, I would beat the shit out of that asshole.
You should have put me in there instead. I would have piloted it a lot better.
It's just so bad.
Yeah.
I hate all the side. Goro's fine. Goro and the fat guy's fine. And I thought Kokoro was fine for a while. And then she turned. But hey.
Yeah, we'll talk about that episode. I think it's...
For the most part, I just gotta say overall, I felt the show was subpar, and I feel like it actually got worse at the end. But that's just kind of my general opinion on the fighting. Like,
not a great show. It's nothing like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay, that's definitely a fucking unfair comparison. You should be comparing it to maybe Gundam O or something.
I don't know. I think it's actually...
You should be comparing it to a Gundam show because that's what the fights are more similar to, not Full Metal Alchemist. Like,
no,
the way the fights are set up.
Stop it.
Okay.
I said it's not on the same level as that. It's on a lower level. Say Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because you make that distinction, is a 10. Because many people call it the perfect anime. I don't agree with that.
It's not a perfect anime, but
there's no such thing as perfect anime.
Yeah, nothing can be perfect. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And let's talk about One Piece because it has infinite possibilities.
Well,
but
I even think like Full Metal Alchemist is more of like it has 10 episodes, but the show on the whole is a 7 or an 8. I feel.
Well, I mean, you know what, man? I don't know. The show did have 2 tries.
However, that is the difference with this one. If you want to make that comparison, I would stand by it 100%. Where this one has 7 or 8 episodes, its natural is a 6 or a 5. So that's the difference between this show and Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist sometimes hits a 10, whereas this sometimes hits an 8. Is the difference? I feel.
Yeah. But they hit those numbers in different areas too, doing different things.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the thing I felt about this show. I know I'm probably saying this early. Is this
you're saying this a lot early. Like
missing identity.
23 episodes early.
Show has a case of missing identity.
I don't agree with that, but continue.
I just think the show doesn't know what it wanted to be. So it tries to do a bunch of different things, and it
I
jumps
will
around a
agree
lot.
with that at the end, not at its stride, which is the
Even by episode 6, I'd agree.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
started early.
Because episode 6 is when it gets really good, and like there's some things that are good, and until then it's like, God, this is so. So that my problem with
let's
this
save
is that
our
it's,
thoughts about this.
well,
until
no,
then.
mine's an intro thought. But my problem
Oh.
was this is a little very similar to rating in Bandit King Jin, but not quite. Bandit King Jin, I didn't know what I was going to rate it coming in because I watched the end of it yesterday, and I was mulling it over in my head, and I still couldn't figure out. But then we were talking through the episode, and I was like, well, yeah, most of the episodes didn't hit for me, like the fucking stupid painted town shit. I hated. I hated a good portion of the episodes and what the theme was, but Bandit King Jin was still enjoyable to watch. But that again is not this type of show. Well, this type of show is aiming to be like a great show. You can tell that at times. Bandit King Jin never tried to aim for a great show. Bandit King Jin was sit down, eat some food, watch the weekly adventure show. You know,
It wanted to be entertainment. It was just purely
Yeah,
made
it
to
was
be
a
like
different- it was a
entertainment.
different
They didn't
thing.
want anything.
so
They
with
didn't
this
have
reaching
that
for
big
much higher
lofty goal.
heights, it makes it a bit more difficult to place it for me to where I'm still even torn between like Bandit King Jin was like 2 or 3 points. It wasn't gonna go. It wasn't gonna go past 7, but this is like a 6 variance, and that's a lot. Like,
Okay, well then I have an easy way to do this. Let's talk about the arcs.
yeah. Well,
So the next
everyone was
few
doing it. I'm joining
episodes-
in. What continue
No, I
on with
know.
episode 2?
Yep. No. So we'll and at the end of each arc, we'll just say how we felt like the arc did. This
Alright.
next arc is the trying to ride again arc. Or
Did you just
that's
call one
what-
episode an arc?
No, it's
Yeah,
him.
literally like episode 3. He
Like
or
episode 1 to
4,
6.
he's back in like her Mac again.
You said
Yeah,
1 to
but-
6, so we're doing 1 to 6.
But that and then he cancels it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's that and the three rides. That's what I meant by
Alright.
ride again.
All right. Episode
Okay.
2.
Well, episode 2 is when he gets back after finishing piloting. That's where everyone starts yelling at him. You know,
Yeah.
people are looking like, "Wow, you
By the way,
can
that
fight."
fight scene was pretty good in episode 1. I liked it.
When
It
Strel
was
is
one
fighting,
of
it
the
looks
better
fine.
ones in the show, and it wasn't that good still.
The
But it
problem,
was one of the
Uh,
better ones.
I think
The
it looked
big-
amazing.
I didn't.
my biggest problem with this is that when Strel isn't on screen, the fighting is mostly just hit explosion, for the most part.
Mhm.
The only time that characters actually don't just hit explode is the snake
The
fight at
other
the beginning.
squads.
Actually,
Like literally the
Yeah.
other fights.
yeah, the snake
other-
fight at the beginning. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Well, it's like when the other squads are
And
fighting.
the
That's-
other
that's
squads
usually-
fight.
Yeah, that's when
They
don't
hit
see
and
it.
they explode.
Yeah,
No, they had to like use like these super weird coordinated attacks, like the other regular
and they're
squad.
generic, and they're intended to be
know,
like
it's like,
that.
yeah. Yeah, well, then the other squad, the elites, yeah, no, they're just touching.
Oh,
they
that's a
didn't
part
look
that grinds my
explode,
gears so
but
fucking hard later on in the show.
We'll get to them
Yeah.
later. But
Yeah.
episode 2, yeah. So
Okay.
they come back, everyone gets mad.
He
They do
he has to
another-
practice
they
alone
do the
again.
Test again.
Mhm.
That's right, the mock battle where
Yeah.
he couldn't pilot it, and he was like, "But
That's
she
the end of
kissed
the
me when I
episode.
did it," and she's like, "I'm gonna French the fuck out of you," and he still couldn't pilot it afterwards.
Yeah.
But you know, it was just more about her being in like this self pity, like boo hoo hoo state. You know, I can't help him. What can I do?
Yep.
And you're kind of like, this bitch, go find a new dick.
Oh.
Again, fight was
Well, the best
personally-
part about that, I think the best part about that is how she thinks it's like, oh, you made me kiss you, and then she goes off and is like, you were fucking awful. Like at the end of it, her last words are, "You are awful," at the episode, and I do like that. I do like how the episode is based around Hero and him going, like, I'm not worth it. I hate myself. This is awful. I'm not in the position I can be. I spent my whole life doing this. I should be able to do this. Why can't I do this? And there is a lot of I go into this later. Loathing, hatred, worth, etc. being held up to, which is really cool. And the theming, it's like where the writer was off on the first one. He showed up again for the second episode. And it feels like that every now and then. Like sometimes he's drunk, and then sometimes he comes back. He's like, "All right, story time. I'm not gonna just write
Just
generic."
like he just like cracks his knuckles. He's like, okay, I got the bad one out the way. I'm gonna have some good shit today, and then starts writing again. You know, chapter 3.
Well,
No.
okay. I do want to say one else thing for this. This is basically Gundam, because the young pilot, the young kid, gets
Hero.
the best mech by a mile, like beats everybody else by a mile. Because Strel, there's nothing that competes with it in the military.
Yeah.
Period. There's like nothing competes with Zell.
Except the other nines. Like their ships are supposed
They're supplementary to her though.
Yeah, but they're
feels
supposed
like.
to be close. They're comparable.
Yeah, they're comparable. They're the only things that are even
comparable.
close to it.
They're the only things that were comparable.
The
to
only
her.
difference between this and a Gundam in the beginning is that an ass comes along with the mech. That's literally the only difference, and it's a problem.
Yeah, but now all
At the
these
beginning.
all these mechs have asses in them now.
Dude, what did you just? Oh, okay, that's fine.
So
Oh, you're really depressed. I thought there would be a Gundam ass. Yes.
There is when Strel is transforming into normal Strel, in the first episode.
Is this from?
Oh yeah, in episode 1, she finds her. I was gonna make a joke, but I forgot. She finds her darling inside of the Franxx. Ha ha ha. Anyways.
yeah, but
Did you just shove your
she
bone in there?
doesn't know that. She doesn't find out he's her darling.
Which for a while I was like,
and then
how?
it
And then it's like,
ruins
oh,
her
then
character. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay. So
Episode 3, right? Starts off, I think, like slightly after like the mock battles, right? Everyone's like about to go to the first fight, if I remember right. Like,
No,
Yep.
3. Yeah.
3
yeah.
was like when they did their first fight against like the underground city, right? If I remember
Yeah.
right.
This is where Mitsuru becomes the biggest dick in the whole entire series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
acting like he was like cucking Hero, and I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, actually, what the fuck's wrong with you? It was
And
so
then-
fucking. This is
then
like
he
the
just
episode that made me
comeuppance.
wanted him to get shotgunned. Like I wanted him to die after that, and I was like, God, you're fucking. This is when I get
Yeah.
pissed off at the mech faces too. Ooh, ooh, the faces are so dumb. Oh, they double down on it later though, don't they ever? I hate the mech designs. The mech designs normally look terrible and they're stupid. There's no reason they should look like that. There is a reason given much later on. But if you're going to have that face there, I don't see why they have to talk to their pilot as the mech. That doesn't make sense. I don't see why.
Well, because
I don't
their face is
understand.
down and their ass is up.
Well, no, it's because apparently when you're in the fact they become the Franks. Their
I
body.
understand what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's why the females are the ones who only ones to feel the pain, except
There's-
when half the time the males scream in pain too.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
kind of a little.
It's this,
I think that's
it's-
purely because they're like halfway. They're connected.
There's a similarity between this and G Gundam, in which G Gundam makes a very strong reference that Domon Kasu is G Gundam, like he is Burning Gundam, and that connection can be done, and it may not be done the best in G Gundam, but it's done in a better way than your face is now being translated onto the front of the mech because when
24 episodes.
Ugh.
It's explained later in the series, but at
It's
this point,
explained later,
Way
but even the
later.
explanation only makes the designs
Way later.
passable. It doesn't make them good. It
They-
makes
they
them passable
take
because they're like,
Too long to get into that stuff.
oh
That's-
look, because like Lolly Pink Mech, it's like I don't like this design. Stupid cannon green-haired girl, I don't like this design.
I like the.
The only ones I like is Ichigo, she looks decent, and Ikuno, who also looks decent. But Ikuno is just a bit so there we go.
Yeah, she's a lesbian.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's-
I understand the lesbian, right?
That's her best personality trait.
It's a really
Yeah,
personality
for
trait.
some people. Until
Hey,
last
hey.
episode.
Again, the writer took a break on Ikuno.
Second person say, I want Ichigo. Okay? If she was in Bleach, she wouldn't be a lesbian. Okay, let's just look at it that way, okay? In
Alright,
some
so-
universe, she is not a lesbian.
Episode 3.
Ichigo?
What was going
Yeah. I get
on
what
in
you're
episode
saying.
3?
Yeah, episode 3.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
so you had
yeah,
the,
we
the
just
whole
finished
thing in the
episode three.
bottom. No, we're not done with
Yeah.
episode 3, because you also had when Mitsuru afterwards gets when she was about to get piloted 02, and they're like, "You can't beat with Hero," and then he was like, "I want to pilot with it, and I'm a better pilot," you know. And then he takes over the mech, and they end up killing everything. And then when he leaves, they see that big ass mark, and they're like, "Oh, oh my god, what did she do to you?" Everyone suddenly feels bad for the dick again.
even though like everyone heard.
Yeah.
Like no one didn't hear. It's like, why would you ever? So yeah, episode 3 is when they have the dick fights where like the little kid's like, I piloted that so much better, ha ha. Ha. That's when he was like that, I think, because I wrote it down here. But it's like when your specialized infantry is having dick fights, why would you ever just let that pass?
No,
that's gonna lead into
specialized infantry is just dick fighting.
No, what that is? No, it's fucking not. Not that. Maybe in scumbag militaries, but not fucking normal ones. When you have a group that works well together, all you're doing is you're leading into a position where someone's going to leave another person behind. Or someone's going to just ignore or keep their head down for a moment. That's all you're going to do. Because why would I ever fucking save that dude's life after what Mitsuru does in that fucking mech? Why would I ever? Why would I ever go out of my way unless I was a protagonist in an anime? And that's one of the things that Japanese fucking writers don't understand. They just don't fucking understand it. Is that once your character goes too far, that character's not going to be forgiven. Why do you think I'm going to forgive that character?
Like, there's no reason he should be immediately forgiven, like, especially by his partner who got treated like that. And then literally he immediately goes pilots a different fucking mech. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no fucking way that person would just forgive him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that quickly. That's not going to happen. That's literally like Poison walks up to me, shoots me in the fucking shoulder. You know, and after the bullet gets taken out, I kind of walk up, give him a high five. I say, "Hey, man, how's this been going?" No, I'm be fucking pissed. I'm probably gonna walk up to him in the goddamn face.
And the
what if
worst
it was
part
an
is
accident?
They're even
What if it was on
cockfighting.
drugs?
They're even doing the cockfighting shit when they're about to die. When they're like holding the door, and Mitsuru is back at base, and he's like, "Well, why don't you let me?" And like Hiro obviously doesn't want to fucking do it, but then ends up going, "It's fine, just save them, I don't care, do it." And then as on his way out, I remember it now, he looks at him and says, "You're gonna regret letting me do this." And it's like, why would I ever help you again? Think. Why would anybody like this character? It's,
Yeah.
And the explanation doesn't even match up. Like, it's not even like, oh, he left me to die or something earlier. It's like, okay, that would make a bit more sense. But no, it's just, I forgot something because my mind was wiped. Not much you could do.
I forgot. Well, he didn't know his memory got right.
Everyone else did. They're talking to him and they're like asking him shit about what happened recently. He's like, "What? I don't know." And they're like, "Does he look a bit different to you?" And they're all like, "Yeah, he does." But they just kind of ignore it.
Like, left for 3 days, came back, and didn't have any record of what happened several hours.
The side characters in this are infuriating, but that's
very inconsistent.
Until very late.
No, and
I think they're fleshed, not like completely fleshed out, but I think they're fleshed out more.
Do you forgive Mitsuru, or does it make you? Because for me, it ended up hating more characters. It thinned the crop. It didn't grow.
Oh no, I still hate Mitsuru.
Because Kokoro became horrible, just absolutely horrible.
Oh no,
and
I hate that pairing. I hate that. That pairing, I hate. But everyone else is good.
All right. So 3, that was the they got trapped. Then he goes down there, dies practically, and comes back up. And fucking 02 comes back up. Yeah, because he wasn't my darling. He's lucky I didn't eat him.
He's lucky he's still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fuck you, bitch.
And then Mitsuru again. Let's not forget how Mitsuru goes back to him, even though Hiro came out of that relatively fine the first time. Mitsuru, when he's in the bed and he's like crying and shivering, he still is aggravated and angry and grabs it. He's like, "Don't go back in there. You're worse than me. This is you're gonna get it so much worse than me." It's like, shut the fucking.
That's episode 4, sir. You jumped ahead.
Ugh.
That's the beginning of episode 4.
Well, now we're on episode 4.
Yep.
Going there anyways.
And now,
we had the
now we're going after that.
Psychotic scream, paranoid freak out.
Yeah.
You know, about his experience with 02, because he just couldn't handle that much. come on, man.
Well,
He's half
you-
black sword.
I don't think anyone would be okay with their
Okay.
soul eaten from the inside out.
Okay, so
It's not Eden.
all right,
Just
this is
dipped
when
into-
02 was supposed to be called back, I guess, to the front line. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, she was supposed to leave,
Yeah.
and that whole hero like, what am I gonna do now? And Ichigo, we're gonna reteach how to do everything from the ground up. Like, did you think he already did that first time he failed? Like, what do you think he did when he first fell? Sat there and fucked Naomi? He sat there and he redid everything over and over again. He's up with you.
Yeah.
Okay, what the hell do you think he did that whole time? So,
Well, don't worry. There's a certain episode you probably can pin it that everyone hates Ichigo, hates her guts, hates everything about her. Many go die Ichigos were in chat that day.
I don't know. Which one? Are we getting there?
No, it's
I
like
think it was the one where she was like holding him hostage against 02.
I think that's
it
fine.
was like
Everyone was kinda,
directly
like,
after
getting
that.
feeling like about it, but and then,
Where's my phone? I need not
Okay,
for right now. I just
okay,
need full
episode-
pictures.
wait,
Episode
wait.
4.
Oh my god, no,
We're getting
wait.
there.
Do you guys know what the name of this episode is?
What?
Flap Flap.
Flap flap.
Yeah, because
Flap,
they're starting
flap.
to get their wings. Yeah.
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 I'm not gonna defend. That is a very stupid name.
And then they had to oh yeah, they also had that fight too where they had to go out to defend the attack because the
Mhm.
kids that couldn't kill like 5 basic Klaxosaurs now can jump on the front lines and fight a giant army of them. Because they
No,
were in a
wasn't
total
it like a giant
mess.
snake? Yeah, it was a giant snake, yeah.
Yeah.
They were in a total mess, like literally.
But they had
That-
no other option, so it's like, just go out there and you can. And then that's when they're like, all right, guess we're gonna. And then Zero Two, and then
We'll
Hero's
let
like, I
you
don't want to
in
be
there,
down here.
Hero.
And it's like,
We'll
they
let
should be
you
out
in
there
there,
with
Hero.
them.
You're good now.
and Zero Two is on the way out, and then they do that escape.
Yeah. Scream, and they're like, okay, we're gonna let you pilot it then.
And then
Pop
Zero
over
Two
the
just
valley.
beat the shit out of everyone.
Mhm.
And then like I'm riding with them. Out
One
of
thing
my
that
way.
this character that Hero does that I don't like. This is like the only time I don't like him in the beginning. But it's like when he's sitting there and it's just say what's on your mind, Hero, the whole time, and Ichigo would leave you alone for the most part. Of just say, I'd rather die than be useless. And she'd mostly just leave you alone, but most of the
doesn't.
time, protagonists just are always think it, but they never say it. And it's like, why? Like, really, why?
Because that would end the strife. That's the issue.
It would end the struggle,
It's
and then
like-
you'd have more
yeah.
screen time to fill.
Yeah, they'd have to do. They'd have to do
Spicy
other stuff that adds
ramen.
time. Back. Okay.
You would have less generic stuff in that. Oh my god, how terrible.
Yeah, exactly. You need the cliches, especially with this show. Okay.
Okay? So yeah, then they pilot the Strel, and then they go and they kill the snake.
Yep.
Leads into the next
They
episode.
kill it, and then it shows like, and he's like, "I will pilot with you, even if it kills."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, you're a great stepping stone till I meet my darling." Yet.
Yeah. And then that's basically all of it is just seeing the recourses of him riding twice with
With her, yeah.
Which is and then the next
like
episode is
that's that giant mark on
Which
his
was
chest,
actually
right?
done well. This episode
Yeah.
was again done well.
Yep. I
Where
was
he's
about to
just
say
like, where he's just in pain, and Goro's like, I really gotta fucking tell someone, dude. And he's just like, no, really,
That's
don't.
5. That's
I'm gonna
episode 5. Actually, that
Yeah.
happens in. But yes,
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
yeah,
Okay.
we're on
This-
I
episode.
thought you,
That's
I thought
like-
you were
and
talking
then
about
he's
episode.
just-
Okay. Mhm.
And then he's just and then he just goes to Goro and says like, no, don't. This is what I want. I don't care what happens. And he's like, oh. That's done well because he's up all night and he has to fucking listening to him shake and shiver because he's
Yeah.
fucking dying over there. It's like,
He's,
yeah,
like,
that's
in
actually
serious
genuinely.
pain. Yeah. Yeah, and then he
That's
has to
actually
kind of
genuinely
sit
because
there, like,
guess what? Goro's one of the good characters in the show and actually cares for fucking his.
he's the one side character I actually liked. Yes.
Yeah, that was male. Well, except
Yeah,
for the
it was
guy,
male.
but the guy is kind of nothing. The fat guy. He's kind of nothing until a certain point.
Well, he's still really nothing for most of the show.
Yeah.
He has his
Or
episode.
has, like, the best
He has
end.
his moment. He has a great ending.
Yeah.
Right.
He has a moment and a good ending, but overall, he's like the least fleshed out character,
Yeah.
and that's probably why he's the second best male character.
Mm.
He's the one they never touched on. They just kind of
Yeah.
let him be, and he had his little moments here and there. But
Leading into episode 6 was the.
wait, oh come on, guys! You missed the whole like 2 platoons talking together. Remember? And they're like, "You guys are unusual. You guys suck." And then they had that fight thingamajig that happened, where we got to see the first generic group ever fight,
Mhm.
and we watched 5 people kill 1 Klaxosaur, and it's like.
It's like, that was impressive.
That was the most inefficient combat I've ever seen
I know.
in this situation. There were like 20 attacking, and all 5 of you were taking like 10 seconds to kill 1. With a
Don't worry,
really
by the
exact-
time this is over, you're gonna have to self-destruct 5 of your members of your group, and
You're gonna have it. By the time this is over, you guys have a total of 6 kills. A round of applause. Only took an hour.
yeah. It doesn't make any sense how the rest of the bases function. It
No,
really
this is
doesn't.
episode 6 that they go with this.
No, episode
No.
5 was the attack.
Well, that's episode 6 where they fight on and stuff.
Yeah.
Was it 5 with the
Episode,
6?
Yeah.
no,
I know
episode
5
5's
was-
ending.
Is the lead
Was
up for the
the
big fight. When they have the
after
celebration,
Ichigo-
it's like, you are our vanguard, you are our defenders, we believe in you. And there's like, yeah, morale boost.
Yeah, that's right. 6 is the attack. 5 was when they first met.
Yeah.
And they were sitting
Yeah.
there talking about how they're inefficient. They don't want to work with them. They're like, we could do it ourselves. An episode later, we realized like there's no fucking way they could do a third of that by themselves. Not if that's how they fight. I mean, God, if they were 2-person teams, I could somewhat understand. But it was a 5v1.
And then episode 6 is when things start to get good, when the fight happens, and it's like the 5.
Big
Yeah, the other
fight,
guys are being
mhm.
generic, and it's like nothing, and they're letting so many slip through too. And they're like, damn,
Yeah.
we let a couple slip through. It's like, what did you expect? You like have to circle them and shit? That's
It's
so,
like-
that takes so much
Kill
time.
time. The kill time for 1 unit. You really think the rest are just gonna sit there waiting in a line? Like, come on now.
And then just, I think Strel is sitting on the back and just
Yep.
sitting on the base, yeah.
Yeah.
And
she's in
then
base.
the
They
big
let her out at
Klaxosaur
the
shows up.
end to do the final shot.
And the big guy shows up, and he's all, and he beats everybody, and then then Strel gets knocked out because Hero hits his limit for the moment.
Yep.
It gets
Yep.
pushed in, and then has the protagonist second wind
Yep.
after coming back.
Hey. He lost his tumor because of that second
Yeah.
win, sir. That was more just a loss of body weight. Okay, that's what I put that to. He lost some body weight there.
Something
okay?
about how
Lost a
other
lot
people
of
that ride with
skins.
Strel lose their white blood cells. He was getting them
T cells.
C
T
cells.
cells.
T
Vitamin
cells.
C, like the C cells they were called. Yeah.
Okay, the C
Yeah.
C as in
cells.
cat.
So
yeah.
the C cells, he was losing his C cells. He was gaining his C cells at an alarming rate, and that's what the tumorous mass was
Yeah.
C cells growing.
Yeah. Well, the problem is
Which
most
was
people's
Klaxosaur
bodies
cells.
couldn't handle it. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is
And it's
weird
like,
because
oh.
Klaxosaur is spelled with a K, not a C. So why weren't they?
They wanted to make it. They wanted to trick people. Okay, that was the plan.
They did a
They
shitty
didn't want
job.
the link, but they wanted to make it simple for themselves.
They did a very shitty job at it. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
And then you have the good scene at the end of this again, where 3, 4, 5, and 6 are good episodes for the most part. Where like 6 at the end, where he's sitting there, fucking getting his, where Strel is sitting there pinned up against the wall. She's constantly trying to brute force it. 'Cause
Yep.
she's in stampede mode, and she's actually crawling against the front, and Hero sees that and stops it. That's a good scene. They do some really, really good shit in the show at times, primarily
Yeah.
between 0-2, Hero, and Ichigo. But they
Yeah.
do some good stuff.
Yeah. No,
And
show
that's, like-
definitely has its moment.
Yeah.
And then you
So
get the
this-
moments like, oh, Starling, and then they actually do it, and it's, yeah, sure. And you know what? At this moment, I was like, all right, with all the sexuality in this show, with all the stupidness, I can kind of buy most of that.
Yeah.
But this is episode 6. I would have stopped at 5. And I wouldn't
Yeah.
have even given a chance because episode 1 was still that bad.
Yeah.
Like,
You just couldn't get that taste out of your mouth because that is like, for what? It's not a horrible show. Over episode 1, It's a horrible episode 1 for the type of show that they make afterwards.
That they're trying to be.
Yeah, it's like if they were just gonna be like a high school DxD thing, the episode 1 would have been fine. It tells you what the show is about. That episode 1 didn't tell us anything about what the show is about, and that's the biggest issue with the show.
Here's the thing. So it has that. Actually, I'm gonna structure that first episode. First 5 minutes was the high school DxD.
The 6th minute and the 7th minute was bye best friend.
Yeah, bye best friend.
And
a
then
little
the
character
rest was
drama.
Everyone's sitting in the room saying, "Yep, he's getting kicked out. He's getting kicked out. He's gonna go." In the last 3 minutes, he just sees a dead dude fall out of a mech and says, I'll fly in that. Yeah.
Okay, so no. A little bit of Ichi, plus a little bit of extra character drama, plus a little bit of in-group fighting.
Not a lot of character
plus
drama. Right
0, 2, and Hero having the most. That describes like most of the series.
Having what?
It does. That's
No,
literally the
Ichigo
structure.
and Hero 2 having what? You cut out.
No, not Ichigo. Not Ichigo.
0,
That's
2, and Hero.
Yeah, 0, 2, and Hero. That's literally describes most of the episodes.
Yeah, but it was just done in a very horrible way.
But your point is like it gave you nothing to where it would go for the rest of the series.
No, because most
when
of
it's a
that shit-
perfect
most-
representation of what's
because
going to
most
be
of-
in the next season.
Most of the things that happen don't stand out. None of that infighting is impactful. Nothing draws you to it. Nothing stood out but the first about 7 minutes of the episode. Okay? In a human's attention span, it's from the beginning. You remember more at the start than if you do at the end. So you want that shit
more bad stuff than good stuff.
You do, but you want that stuff front first, though, so you can get their attention, get their mind going in a certain direction. Instead, they take your mind in a different direction. They take your mind in a wrong way. So they take you right, and then they're like, oh, no, you need to go left. So they make you go backwards to try and get to where they want you. Okay? And that's why it is a really bad first episode.
Perfect representation of what you're going to get through the series.
Minus the first, maybe if they didn't have the first 7-8 minutes, maybe. But because the first
because you still
minutes
have the
exist-
Ichi stuff in this series.
Yeah, but it's not. There's almost half the episode's fucking Ichi shit.
There's one more that comes up that's really egregious, that pushes too far, and that's really shortly. That's episode 8.
Yeah. So how did you guys like the fighting to where Hero's challenge, like doing his first 3 flights with 0, 2?
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were amazing. But
I thought
everything
they were
else was...
okay, but again, like the fighting just
The one
doesn't
hurt it so bad,
impress
though,
me.
for the first 6, that those other 5 had to make up for it, and it was fighting an uphill battle from that point.
I thought
Here's the
episode 1 was a great intro, and all the next episodes just build off of that, and then we get into the
And here's
next
the thing.
arc.
It carries that into episode 7 when they go to the beach.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you did a good job defending us, especially because we didn't expect you to do that well. So, hey, you get a little break to help get yourselves back together. And it's like, all right. And then it's just really, most of the beach interactions during the day are kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, pretty fucking pointless. Don't really need to be talked about for the most part. However, when they go to the city, you have only really one thing that's truly important is you see, oh, this is our world, but in the future. It's like, why was this in the future? Which doesn't make sense, but we'll get to later. And then you get to the point where it's like, all right, so she found a book and it's about pregnancy and she's really interested in it, so no one knows. Mitsuru sees that and it's like, hey, you should be careful up here. He's like, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. That you're looking at this stuff and I'm just going to move along. But then you get to the really good stuff that happens at night, and that's mainly the interaction between Ichigo and Hiro that make up that whole episode, because that's really fucking good. Primarily, my favorite part about their interactions at night is when she's straight up following in his footsteps as he's walking in front. When he cuts her off and starts walking ahead of her, and she starts walking in his footsteps. I thought that was really beautiful and really well done. And a lot of that stuff, when it has the character interactions between the love triangle, air quotes, is very well done. And the writer really knows how to write that. In fact, I think this is one of the best love triangles, air quotes, for the...
I say more
I
love.
don't even think it's really a love triangle.
It's in
like,
air quotes. It's not, but that's what I'm saying.
That
Air
is,
quotes.
like
That's
those
the
air
reason
quotes
for the air
are
quotes.
very, very.
Here's what I think. Why I think it's a love T. You take a T. You got 0, 2, and hero right here, and then you have Ichigo trying to.
You understand? We can't
You understand what a
right
T is in shape, right?
Yeah.
A capital T. What does that look like in shape? Maybe
Like
I'll
a
flip it upside
T.
down.
But
With a T upside down.
Capital T, flip it on capital T upside down, and fill in the lines between the top, tippity top of the pointy stick to the left and the right ends.
Why would you fill in those lines? That's not a T.
Yes, but you understand the shape it creates, correct?
It does create a triangle, but here's the thing: you curve those lines, and suddenly you have a circle.
that is a big that is.
Yeah, because why are we adding lines? to
You
this?
stretching. That is like completely.
Because T is.
It's not even like.
No, like
No, that is
literally.
really.
The point is, if you draw some lines to it, it becomes a triangle. Yeah, but if I draw
No,
some
but
different
it's just
lines,
the
it
shape.
becomes
It's
a
still
circle.
a triangle. That's what the triangle
it's
is. So.
shaped as a triangle, still a T. Like a capital
Yeah,
T
that's
is
the
still
point
a
of it.
triangle. They just don't have the lines going from the bottom to the corners.
It is
connected.
a T.
I
They
used
just
to
don't
watch
have the
Mexican
middle.
soap operas
Triangle.
when I was a young kid in a laundromat.
What is it?
I know
is it?
what
You
love
understand-
triangles are, okay?
What is an A angle triangle?
And it is a triangle for the most part because of the times that Ichigo is going after Hiro, and Hiro thinks for a couple times about when. That's one of the more important scenes much later, though. Much later.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Again, like, I get what you're saying, but triangle, I
Again,
don't think
air
it's a
quotes,
love
remember.
triangle. I know. I don't think Ichigo loved Hiro. I think she's just affectionate for him. But that's kind of how
I
I,
think she
felt like
loved
it
him.
came for her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but
Does anything have anything to say about the beach episode? They swam. They were asking, like, what's a kiss? Oh, come on. You got to see a kiss before me. And they're all buddy-buddy. When a couple
yeah, they
episodes
also
ago,
got
they
to
were
know
like
what
at each
love
other's
is
throats.
too, and that's where they brought up that question of what exactly is a kiss and love. They don't teach us these words.
They don't.
They don't. No, they don't. I'm just saying. It's a question. That's all I was saying.
No.
It becomes a big part later on. I understand.
8 becomes the fun episode where I hate the show again.
Yeah, eight's a down point for me too.
Ah, this one.
So you have, so they're fighting Calaxosaur, right? And spoiler alert for those who are watching the spoiler series about spoiler talk with spoiler stuff. Episode 8 is a fun one because this female Calaxosaurian decided that her self-defense weapon, when she went under the ground for 1,000,000 or so years to evolve and change and grow, she realized that her self-defense weapon would be to spray blood everywhere when she got hit. And that blood is specifically acidic, not to the mechs, not to the pilots of said mechs, not to
just
flesh,
to fabrics.
just to fabrics.
I don't even know. Like, are their suits even fabric? They're spray painted
No.
on. As we've seen in
It's
episode
leaking
2.
and it's leaking into the mech
paint.
that goes to space. Keep in mind, these mechs go to space.
No, those specific ones don't go to space.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
They
Those are
get a
the same
black
mechs.
paint job.
They get a black
Yeah.
coating.
Paint
Like
job,
black
and they
Saurian,
get
but it's the
matching
head that
weapons.
gets
They
covered.
get matching weapons. Don't forget about
And
the
then the
matching.
males all decide to perv out, which, you know, because of the phrasing and whatever they do, that's fine. But, like, they don't tell them what's happening, and they don't pay attention, and it's just like, why does this start this episode? And this whole episode is just boys over here, boys in the boy clubhouse, and girls in the girl clubhouse. And that's it.
Yeah, but this
That's the whole
is another
episode
example
after the
them
stupidest
not
fucking
knowing what-
Calaxosaur fight in the entire show because it makes no goddamn sense. And it's
No.
just done to lead into the scenes. It's the fucking shit in Darling and the Frogs. Not Darling and the Frogs. Ha! That'd be funny. It's just the shit in Land of the Lustrous where why did she lose her arms? Why did she lose her legs? Because fuck you. She just did it, so here's the scene. And it makes no sense, but they lead into it, and it's only worse because it's the fan servicey shit Where they're like, oh, this will get the lonely fuckheads interested. There's tits and ass again. It's like, are you fucking... What is with this? And it's like so annoying because they're genuinely trying to tell a love story here, but they're just doing like, but titties though. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. There's
Here's
better
a
ways
case
to
of
do
mistaken
this.
identity, though.
That's
mistaken
Fred, I
identity.
don't understand this thing you're saying about mistaken identity for this episode.
They don't know what they want to be.
It's an one-off episode.
But
Are
then
you
you have
saying
the end of the
Dragon Ball
episode
breaks
though,
the premise
where
of
it's
what they've
genuinely
been
good.
building up?
And why is the episode genuinely good?
Are you
Because it's
saying
0, 2, and
Naruto
Hero.
has broken premise? Because some of the episodes are filler? Are you?
And then
Oh my
0,
God.
2,
That's
and Hero.
not
are
the
the-
filler, though. This still continues the main plot.
Does it, though?
Completely
It
side.
does.
If you
it's
delete
it's
this
based on the
episode...
fucking
Then
relations
we end
between
up
the pilots.
skipping half of a fight. We end up skipping half a battle. Literally, we skip parts of a battle. Like we're skipping a conflict. Okay?
Yeah,
We're
but we
skip-
skip many
We're
conflicts in this.
skipping. We're skipping character. There's actually character's development of some sort. You get to see 0, 2 how she's starting to change.
Which
They
is the
show
best
that off
part
in
of the episode.
Yes, which is the only good part of the episode.
But not every episode has to go to this one divine goal.
Yes, but not every episode. But not episode should never be fucking. When you're batting for an 8 or a 7, you shouldn't be doing 5 as your filler. You shouldn't.
For what
That's
the show
the most
wanted to be, this
infuriating
episode
thing.
shouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
Okay, and for a little bit,
Like
this
you could have.
episode
Here's
does-
the thing: you could have literally just had one of the females turn her when she talked. It's like, "Are you staring at me?" That's what it could have been. You could have just done that.
You didn't need the whole naked thing. Like, they
You
didn't
didn't
to
need
do
the
whole
blood
story.
seeping in.
Made no sense. That whole weird thing.
No, I agree with the Franxx thing, but I don't agree with this premise you have. Oh,
The
it
show
doesn't know where it's going.
It doesn't know
No,
what
the
it
rest of
wants.
it's
It was
fine. It's
truly
gonna
a
get there in
character
a
building
stupid way.
episode.
Okay, it doesn't know what it wants to do.
What premise? Okay,
No, how it wants to
If you're
build
gonna
its
go for
characters.
this argument. Tell me
Okay.
what premise you think they are going for, or think they are going for.
They
this.
don't know what they're doing for it. They just turn
What?
around. and-
Okay, what do you
Poison,
think this
poison.
differs from? No.
What
What do you think this differs from?
Episode 7 finished, right? Episode 7 finished. They're in a meeting. What do we do for episode 8? They're like, we haven't had a lot of fan service in a while. How are we going to change that?
They just had
We need
fan
to-
service last episode.
We need the girls to be naked. We need to
They
be
just
more
had fan
naked.
service last episode.
Yeah, they don't care though. They need more.
So it doesn't
It's-
break
they
because
need
that
a
last
super
episode it
trashy
continues with
thing.
last episode,
Okay,
gets
they need
trashy,
something
yes.
super trashy.
but
You
it's
know,
still fan
it's like-
service.
The show wants to be like a super serious romance, wants to be a Gundam mecha action anime, okay, and it still wants to be super trashy for no reason. Like, it literally is trying to be all these 3 different things. Those 3 don't mix. It's
Yeah,
like,
but when you go trashy, there is still no
so
reason
the
to go
show
trashy
doesn't
ever.
know what it wants to do. It doesn't know what it wants to do. There's a difference between fan service and a difference between what they do.
No, there's
they're
no
doing.
reason to go trashy if that's the case. Then any anything with trashiness doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, trashiness doesn't need to be in this anime. This anime didn't need it. It just had it there to have it there.
But then no
I've
anime
got,
needs.
I've got a bit of
No,
example.
no. Some animes are designed around that. Some are designed to be trashy anime.
I've got an example of a better
There are
scenario of how
plenty.
you can actually work in. If you need to have fan service, you can actually work it in a slightly better way. Code Geass, for instance, when they do he just becomes 0, or I mean, he becomes 1, and he's starting to get his potential.
man.
I was kind of bleeding at the Cold Man. Yes, Cold Ment is my new canon for that. But he's starting to bleed into it, and it's bleeding into his life. He's seeing the repercussions, and then she starts noticing, the red-haired chick, and she starts getting curious on it. So she calls him into the bathroom to bring him a towel, and she is naked in the shower. You see everything when she goes in the shower, but she has a knife to him, and she's waiting for a response to whether or not she's gonna kill him or not, because she thinks he's won.
But that could have happened outside the shower.
Well, no, but that's the way they put it to make it more, to make a reason to the fan service of like, he's not going to be looking at me because he's going to be trying to avoid being a perv.
Trap. Like it was meant to be a trap for him.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't just kind of happen.
But
Or was it
you-
Like there was a
walk out the
reason for
forest?
it.
He didn't just like walk out the forest and
You
do
can
it to
always
just make
explain
it,
away
like,
fan service entire. fans. It's for
Poison, I just spent a very long period of time explaining why
Yeah, but
these non-airtight mechs go to space and how
No,
this
I also
Klaxosaur
agree with
developed
you
its
that.
only weapon
No,
in fighting
I'm
with
agreeing
blood.
with you that on that Shadow. I'm
Yes,
saying
and that's the reason why it's
stupid.
trashy right there, though.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
point. It's
but
like that they could have gotten to the same thing in like 20 different ways, and they chose not to.
Oh, I thought this was still arguing with Reddit about how this is somehow completely different than the last episode.
I think the show just jumps around a lot.
It's just a different
I feel
arc.
like it jumps around. It's not a different arc.
Yeah, no, this is like a character building arc.
You know, I just feel like
This
the show
episode-
I feel like the show jumps around, and sometimes they take the right path, and a lot of times they take a really weird path that don't make any sense of why they went this way here.
Yeah, no, this
You know,
episode
10 other ways, like they didn't know. They
17?
just turned around. They didn't know what they were doing, and they just like, you know, like they hand the reins off to else to like lead the episode, and then it went in a fucking weird direction. Like they had two people. They had the main guy, and if he got sick every like 6 weeks, they handed over to the fucking they handed over to the fucking kid with dyslexia, and then he somehow found a weird fucking stupid way of doing everything.
The next few episodes are going to be purely character building. That's all they are.
Oh, the next episode is fine. I didn't like this
No,
episode.
all of these episodes from the do the first 3 flights with Zero, they're all character building.
I understand they're mostly character
And
building.
Hero,
Yes.
they try
So
to shove
it's
Hero and
literally
Zero
just
Two a bit
character
into the
building.
background.
Until we get to the point where I agree with you, where they just lost direction for some reason,
Yeah.
it follows a good flow.
I agree with
Yeah.
both you on this, so that's why I'm being mostly silent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I
It's
agree
hard
with
to
both
flow.
parties.
It's-
I'm leaning a
it's
bit more
hard
towards
for me
Reddit,
to
but yes, I do agree
explain.
with Poison too.
It's
I understand
hard
where
for
both
me to
are
like
coming from.
put it towards words, Poison. But it's like the thing, like, yeah, no, in essence, these are all character building episodes. 7 and 8 were character building episodes, but they built the characters in different ways. They used different
Ooh,
ways to
the
do it.
nasty one.
Okay.
Watch
you know
out.
what I mean? Like, they use
11's
different
the
ways
fun
to do
one where I get to go on a rant again.
Okay.
But I just, they just went different. They were doing the same thing between 7 and 8. They just did them completely different. Like, as if 2 different people were organizing the episode on how to do it.
Yeah,
Like, on
one
how
was
to animate
about
and make it.
learning what it is, and one was about sexual tension.
And if it was,
You know?
Because a lot of this is an allegory for relationships.
We're going to
well,
be
no,
going
it is
nowhere.
directly
Let's
a
just-
relationship though. They make it like they make it that. And that's
Yeah.
coming up very shortly though.
Yeah,
So.
let's just move on to the next episode. We're gonna go.
Bombing Klaxosaur, the Klaxosaur that
Mhm.
blows itself up, and then regenerates and then blows itself up. But blows itself up is its main attack.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And this is the episode where this is the whole episode is they fight this thing in the beginning and you start in with the fight. It's coming at them and they're like, oh god, this thing's coming at us. So it's like, all right, we'll go deal with it. They go to deal with it and Ichigo gets stuck in it, and Goro in a split-second decision ejects her from the
Yep.
ship,
And he gets stuck
air quotes
inside
saving
it.
her,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
then
that's right.
intends to blow himself up in it. Then
Mhm.
Ichigo is like, oh, I'm not going to let him die in there. That was stupid, so I got to go save him. And Strelzal jumps up, throws him in, then she loses the hairband, and you have a bunch of background of Goro. It's basically Goro's backstory here.
A little bit more
As he's
into
passing
her
out.
relationship with Ichigo, but yes.
And how he's
For her.
always a little bit behind her
Hero.
mindset,
Mhm.
because Hero's
He's always
in front of her
behind.
mind.
Yeah.
For
But he's just
instance,
always,
if,
like,
when
everything
he
he goes-
minds meld with her, it's
Mhm.
it's all Hero, whereas when she mind melds with him, with
Goro.
when she minds meld with
Oh, wait, Hero.
Hero, it's all
It's all
0-2.
0-2.
Which is
Mhm.
beautiful, but I'll get to that later.
Mhm.
I didn't care so much for this episode, mainly because I was kind of at this point feeling like Hero could have gone either way. Because that's one of the things I liked about it, of like, hey, this relationship is good for you to have, but it's also really painful for you. Like, it's a very bad relationship because it's a double-edged sword, and yes, you are getting an excessively amount of good out of it, but you're also getting a excessive amount of bad, where she is a positive and negative influence on them at the same time. That's a neat thing to see. I appreciate that. And I also got to give this show credit for much later, but it does do relationships, which most animes just don't do. So, there you go.
Definitely does different amount of relationships. So,
And this
pretty
is,
nice.
by the way, to recognize that some relationships, just like relationships like in real world, some are bad but still have good points.
Like, yeah, he does get mad every now and again, hits me every now and again. But
he doesn't
all
do
the other times
cracking.
when he's not drunk, he's the sweetest guy I've ever seen in my life. That's
And
like,
he has a 12-inch
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that bad? Should I let this? You're net positive, but how long is he going to go too far, though? And that's the thing about 02 in the beginning, which is really cool. Is like, when is she going to go too far, and when is she just going to use up Hero? Because he still is getting tired and exhausted after some of these fights. So it's like, when is it too much? How much was enough? That's good.
Yep, and we're
But
going to see
again-
that point in episode 14?
14? Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere around there.
I only worked out for 10 with City episode. Oh, God, it was the little kid running around the city. Fuck
Yeah.
that episode.
Yeah, it was a weird old
Can we
lady.
just skip this episode?
Yeah,
Weird
he
old
goes.
lady.
Okay, I'll do a brief description. He goes into the episode for those of you who don't remember it because it's fucking forgettable as all fucking hell. Even the main character of the episode goes, "I forgot about it." Eventually, it's like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Because he
when
goes to the
they
city.
all got the medals.
And
He
it's
goes to the city, they get the medals, they're walking around the fucking city, they finally get access to the city. They see, oh, city life is miserable. And it explains to you why nobody would ever in a million years take that deal, because it's terrible. Who would live like that? Nobody would live like that. Very few people. Correction. Few people would. But most people would prefer to live a different way than becoming pod people. Most people would see that as a deprivation of humanity. No, because when you put somebody in a pod, even though when all their needs are set, and that's been tested, when you match all their needs, they have a stimulus defect, and they end up going fucking crazy and insane. They don't get sedated; they go insane.
No, I know
That's
that.
the thing about
but-
psychology.
No, I understand that, and that's real world. But in this world, remember, 70% said
This
they
is the real
would-
world, though. They're trying to make it.
I know.
It's the doctor's episode.
Yeah, I know it's not this episode, so we're talking about more. Okay, we'll link back to this episode when we get to that episode, okay?
Okay, but for the most part, this episode was bad, and there's like this really fucking weird string towards the end where she was like, "But I'm your mother," or "I watched over you when you were in the
She's
daycare,"
like-
or some shit.
Yeah, no.
It was some really weird fucking link that they never touched on because they literally said they forgot about it afterwards. So fuck
Yeah,
it.
that was.
Doesn't
so,
matter.
that
We'll
was
forget
so
about it,
fucking
too.
weird.
11 partner shuffle. Kokoro is a fucking raging cunt.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
Shadow, you've been
so
waiting on this.
Here's the problem. There's a big connection here between, oh, well, isn't Hiro a raging dick to Ichigo? And you would have
No.
a point. You would have a point there in saying that. But Hiro, at no point in time, ever gives in to Ichigo. Ever. It's kind of the same thing that happens in Bandit King Jin, where at the end, where he randomly kisses the girl, and you're like, what? That's not what he does, though. It's a little bit weird. It doesn't make sense. This, he never does that. Hiro never, at any point, ever says, I want you, Ichigo. He doesn't. He
Well, he does
straight
the
up 100% is focused on 02. And is
I
nice
guess on
to
that
it.
scene.
And loves Ichigo, but loves her like a sister. He doesn't love her like I want to be in a relation. He thinks about it a couple times, but doesn't
Yeah.
ever go into it and doesn't ever say
When
it
he's
to
at
her.
his lowest point.
That's
in
the difference
series.
between Kokoro and fucking the fat guy. He's sitting there and he's like, I love you. I'll always protect you. Do you want me to always protect you? Do you love me too? Do you want me to always protect you and love you? And she's like, yeah. And she's all happy and nice. And not like a day
10
later.
seconds. It's like, I actued to record
A
this.
day
'cause I knew
later,
you
she's
talked
like,
about this.
I want to switch partners with Mitsuru.
5 minutes it took.
And it hurt him so bad. He's on the ground crying in front of everyone he's ever known in his life, saying, I don't know why this hurts so bad. Somebody help me. It hurts so bad. And he's fucking dead because of that. And she's just, it's like, what the fuck, you bitch. You are such a bitch.
That's
Yeah.
because the other guy liked book that she had.
It's because they spent like 2 minutes in the fucking thing, and it's just,
They spent 2 minutes
so-
two different
it's so
times.
Out of nowhere. It's so we need a shift, and it's so fucking annoying. And I didn't think it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like a 1 day thing, too. But it wasn't. It was like permanent, and I was like, what? And every time he sees them together, he's fucking crying and shit. I felt so bad for the fucking fat guy. I felt
Yeah,
so
yeah.
bad for. I was like, oh my god, why?
Yeah, no, they did him wrong in that episode.
That's
They did him
Futoshi,
off for the
the
whole
fat man.
series.
Name
Are
is
you kidding me?
Futoshi's his name, sir.
Futoshi.
You
And he's
did
just
him
like
wrong,
devastated
that
for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. 'Cause
Even
he
when
was
they
in
get
love-
married, he's still crying, but he's like, I want to be the one that gives you away. And it's like, oh my god, you're not helping me feel any better for you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And he's like, can't eat and shit because his fucking treatment's killing him and stuff. It's like, God. Ugh. He just gets it so fucking hard and doesn't get a good end. I don't think he gets
No,
that great of an end.
He gets married.
He gets a happy end for himself. But like, was she really the one he liked? Probably not. It's like Ichigo. Ichigo kind of settled. Like, I have a feeling Ichigo, when she talks about Goro, would say, "Oh, he's a good guy." You know, she would give that response. She wouldn't go. She wouldn't go, "Oh yeah, that was my one true love," because no, that to me that looked like it was Hiro, and he just found somebody else. It didn't feel the same way. It wasn't receptive, and like Ikuno also kind of settles. It looks like when he gets Naomi, when she gets paired up with Naomi for the most part. Ugh, that episode.
Yeah.
Poison, did I say the most of it, or?
You're forgetting the part where she cuts his hair. Very good special moment.
Oh man, I'm gonna miss out on that when I go fully bald. No girl's ever gonna be able to cut my hair.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna find love while she cuts my hair.
Hey, you got the mispiloting issues when they couldn't pilot their mech. That happened
And
too.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the first,
Isn't
and they
this the
actually give an
episode where-
indication of Akuno wants to be is
Where
interested
they
in
try
girls
to female pilots.
because she says she wants to pilot with Stamen and Stamen.
Yeah.
She wants to try pistol to pistol, which that makes me think, well, does Stamen to Stamen work? Because they don't, whatever.
Yeah, because the 9 squad does.
The nines
No,
are
no,
intent
nines are
designed that way
exception
though.
because they're based off of 0-2.
They're meant to be
he
like
mentions
they're
that.
meant to
They can
be pilot
pistons or
co-pilots for
stamens.
Zero, yeah.
Yeah, they could be
Maybe
either.
they both. We actually don't know what they have underneath their pants.
We don't know.
I mean, some
I
of
don't
them
wanna
look
know.
female and some of them look male.
Some of them
Yeah.
look both.
Most of them are ambiguous though, like the ones with the masks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, another question that comes up later, but you only get to see 3 of the 9s at the end, even though there's like fucking
Yeah, 4 of them.
8 of
I
them.
assume the other
There's
ones
3
just
mechs. That means
died.
there has to be at least 5 of them.
And
I don't know,
it's
maybe
just
they could pilot themselves. They might be like zero.
Yeah, but
then
then
why don't they
they'll
go
go
into
into bestial
stampede
mode.
mode though? It's still Klaxosaurs. They just don't go into stampede mode for what reason?
You see, maybe
Maybe it's because they're both they're like
Maybe
a
they're
mix of
he-she's.
X and Y.
maybe
Like yes, that
Maybe
just
they're-
makes you male, and maybe they're double X and XY in their selves, so they can both pilot.
And it's just
and
incredibly
control.
hard, and it just kills them, but they know they're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
maybe fuck it.
We don't
Okay,
know. They
let's-
didn't explain it, so we.
They,
had to
they
kind
don't
of
explain the
we
nines.
just
They're
kind
just
of
there
like
as an
It's-
antagonist force for the most part.
This is after the point where I saw. I'll get to that when we get to 16. Okay, so now we're at
12 when it starts to get really, really, really good for a moment.
and they go back to go take tests in their old garden.
yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
mainly 0-2
And-
getting her treatment.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Is what the
and
reason
it's
they go there.
and it's pretty much that 1-9 trying to hit on each.
Well, not trying to hit, but trying to fuck with her.
Yeah, I think it was just like fucking with her, and not in the sexual sense.
I
And
didn't
more
think they
than really
because
big
they don't even have. They say they don't have emotions, but they're pretty fucking emotional in most show. Gonna get to that later.
Yeah.
Though. Fucking. The garden episode was really fucking good, but I feel was this the one or was this no? That was the mind meld. That's the next one. Okay, first one is still
Yeah.
pretty decent though.
The next one's a flashback of their
Yes.
childhood.
Yeah. Where you see adorable little baby 0-2.
Can somebody explain what 12 was? Because I wrote down very generic stuff for this.
Okay, 12 was basically you saw the squad and them going back into their old childhood, seeing how they were treated.
Okay, it was the
Yeah, them walking around trying to ask.
Yeah.
questions and Hero walking around asking questions and
Yeah,
everyone else being
and
like,
then the one.
yeah,
lady was
shut up,
saying,
go
like,
back.
She's
Yeah.
not here. Nobody ever comes back here.
And you see 0-2 start freaking out, cracking, because she just wants to be human and she's just not getting to that.
Yeah, and that's when she starts having her mental breakdown because she can't find her fucking darling she's been standing next to the whole goddamn fucking time.
Which is the only reason that he's been alive for so long and no one else has ever done it out of the hundreds of pilots she's eaten. And this is the one different one. And she's about the same age as him. And he's about the same age as her. And it seems really fucking odd and convenient, but whatever.
And then it's also
Surely
like
I would remember him even though I don't remember him.
It's a weird thing. She was brainwashed on the more things she kills, the more she becomes human.
Well, that was that was Papa or whatever telling her.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, after being, I think she would kind of put two and two
She would
together.
probably figure it out.
Yeah, rather than kind of going more and more obsessed with that philosophy. You know, it's like you would have thought she would have put.
Well, at this point, she didn't know she was possessed like that. Like after this, she realized that she's being tricked. So she's like, I don't care about killing clocks anymore. I just want to be with my darling.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was 13. 13 was probably one of the best episodes in the entire show because it kind of did the like child lovers turning into like, but it was actually done well. Whereas in any anime I've ever seen, usually flops in a lot of ways. This one's actually kind of like Hero. You can see him getting pushed out of his own, and he's getting really aggravated and pissed off most of the time when he's just like he's just trying to get anything out of these people, and they're constantly going like, "No, leave." The only reason I'm even letting you ask this question is because I'm not allowed to punish you. It's the only reason. And he's just constantly getting took away, and he sees more and more of his friends getting taken away and not coming back because they're just getting shotgunned. No, they're actually getting.
They're being.
You think they're getting shotgunned in a corner, but in reality, they're getting boxed into a. Yeah.
They never
explained
just
in case
that was, and in the essence.
Yeah.
No explanation given to that. Just
no. Well, it's kind of explained through the location of it. So the doctor was like saving them.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They were actually being boxed because of him.
Yeah.
Because he's actually gets priority over for the Franxx program or some shit.
Yeah, because he made the Franxx.
Yeah.
It's like that makes sense later, but for the Team Wild, it's like, oh, they're just getting taken off and shotgunned or something, you know.
Yeah, for right now, you think they're dead.
Mm-hmm. So, you have the whole thing, and you have the storybook, and you have him trying to talk with her, and yes, the Oni part made me groan for a moment, but she's like, oh, Oni, because you're... But no, that's not good at all. Oh, I'm just going to call you 02. It's like, I was kind of like, and then she bled blue, and I was like, And then I was like, well, as long as he doesn't become blue, and then the final episode happens, I'm like, are you fucking serious? But anyways, this is a really fucking beautiful episode of them walking through in a storybook-esque thing, and Hero realizing that he's expendable, and how everything he's living is not the way he wants to live, and then he eventually so he goes to a dressing measure, takes 02 away, and realizes, oh shit, I'm now on the shoot to kill block. This is a problem. And it's a really fucking good episode, but again, it doesn't match some
02 is adorable.
It's just,
You gonna argue against that, Reddit? She's adorable.
No, she's a little adorable.
Yeah.
Look.
So, and again, and I reference this even after watching it, it's like, Garden continues, but it's a mind meld of 02 and Hero. And has now thrown my entire writing system into turmoil with this episode, probably calling quits for now after this. But here's the problem. After a long period of nothing good at all, 4 5s for the most part, which is what the last episodes for the most part were. But now every now and again pulls out a 7 or 8, which is an actual material here. There's good shit here. Not just neat fights or stuff happening, but some above average storytelling and an actual true emotional tension. And it became really difficult for me to place right about this point because they actually went for it. And they lead into a really bad scenario of where now 02 is actually horrified that she just about killed her darling and is actually like, it's a problem now. They did something really good. They committed. They put up the double-edged blade, but usually it's like, oh, the protagonist just got better at it. But no, this double-edged blade actually cut him and cut him really fucking bad and almost kills him. And that's why this is so, this is a truly excellent storytelling. Dio.
Oh, Dio.
Dio.
Come on, Dio.
And the fire truck drove.
No.
Yo,
Right in the middle of his whole entire important speech.
I know.
Yes.
He picked the best time. Oh, gar. Sorry, baby dog, everybody.
Okay.
It's,
Baby. You have
he's a
like
baby. He's not even
6
a year
months.
old yet. He's coming up on a year.
Yeah.
He's a German
no.
Shepherd. He's got a lot of bark.
Okay. So continue? Or is that all you'd say?
It's
No, he
mostly
was- he
all.
wasn't done.
It's just really. It's just disappointing because the writer is just. If you didn't have that, like, blood leaking into the suit shit, and, like, the stupid. Some of the nonsensical stuff that happens a bit earlier, and people jumping to conclusions, and it's just. Sometimes the writing varies so hard
Two
from episode
steps
to episode.
forward,
Sometimes
one step
it's jarring because I'm actually thinking about it. Episode 13
Mm-hmm.
is almost a 9 for me, like almost damn near it belongs in a 9. It's just when most of the stuff is 5 and 4, going from 5 to 4 to 9, that is a fucking huge jump. You know, it's difficult to place that now, and it's. But I loved it for the most part. How do y'all think about this episode?
back.
I liked it.
I liked the episode. Kind of
Yeah.
pulled on your
I liked it a
heartstrings a
lot.
little bit. So, you know,
I liked the imagery. I liked 02, like I've been saying. It was. I liked just how, because this is the first time you really get to see. You got a little peek of it, but you never really saw what they were like when they were kids, and why you see him starting to fail, because after they were found, he just got the drugs, got tons of drugs.
after her blood.
Well, no, because
yeah.
he drank her blood.
He drank her blood.
And the doctor says, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's useless now, but I'll just keep him around." I'm interested to see where this goes.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is the part where it gets very difficult for me to actually give it a rating.
So that's why we're going to do it in sections.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you guys rate the first thing? I didn't ask.
No, I
No.
don't. I don't know.
The
I'm
first.
gonna rate the show as a whole.
Okay. Well, then I'll just ask Shadow what he thought about this part, which is his character building part.
This part, again, I'm
Which-
gonna go
no,
back to
no,
what I
it
always
doesn't
say.
end
The
yet.
parts with 02, Ichigo,
No, it doesn't.
and
It
Hiro
doesn't end until after 02 leaves.
are amazing. Every single scene with 02, Ichigo, and Hiro are usually very, very good, very high quality scenes. Even when Ichigo's trying to save Goro, very good scene. It's just most of the episode is somewhat boring and non-existent for the most part. That's a bit of the problem. 14 is where the triangle continues a bit.
Yep.
Granted,
That
both of them
continues a
like that
bit.
word.
It's where the triangle gets its massive fucking. It gets into the middle.
No, this is when just the whole team's like, never. You shall not see him.
Because
Yep.
the team that was aggressive and wanted to kill Hiro a while ago, damn near, is now head over heels in love with Hiro. For reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, ugh, why'd you write them so bad at the beginning? This would make
I
sense
can
if they
kinda
weren't
see
complete
it
fucking
from, like,
dickheads.
A sports they went from too drastic to be a connection like this, but I can see what they were trying to go for. So they were trying to do like he proved his worth kind of thing, but they were too drastic with it.
Mm.
Yeah, where like they accept him now into the group, kind of like a basketball team, where the first stringers don't accept the second stringers as players, or diamond players in league don't accept silver players as actually playing the game.
I don't think that's correct. I think it's more so just like they might not have liked him back then, but they still accept him as part of their team because he's still one of them. And it's because he was like the leader of them, so they still had that emotional attachment. I don't think it's more like he's being accepted. He's always been accepted. He's just was looked down upon.
We have 14. We're going into 14 unless anyone has anything to say about it.
I
No,
think we're
we're-
15.
Oh,
We're
no,
talking
we're at 14.
Yeah,
14.
We're at 14. But we've
We're
missed
gonna
I
talk
forgot to
live.
say the ending of it. The ending of that, where after the mind meld and 02 was just going ballistic and actually rips off Ichigo's arm when she's still piloting, and you see that they actually get hurt when that happens, and hey, jing on them. But that
Only for the
is
women. Only for
that
the
does
women.
help to bleed into why Ichigo is still hostile. Is so incredibly hostile towards that. She would have still been hostile towards 02 after this scene, after this episode, no doubt. But having the actual like, oh, I can't move my arm now because of you, bitch. No, you're not going near him. You actively attacked us. No. So I can kind of see that a bit more. Is this the one where everyone turns on Ichigo?
No, that's 2 episodes. This next one is where 02 has to leave.
Yeah, they start talking about her to leave, and Hiro is in the hospital for the most of it.
Yeah, I guess I actually do turn on her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I get where you come from. Yeah. So yeah, and then the final scene is where
Hiro walks into the room, and Ichigo and the rest are all beaten to shit, and she's just sitting there as like, they lied to me. They said you were going to be here and you weren't, which is, again, in her messed up state. I liked this little episode again. It's a problem.
Yep. And then next episode is where the big controversy came, where a lot of people hated Ichigo. Like, hated her.
Okay, let's go through the episode from like
So the
what
next
happens in this
episode
episode in 15.
Yeah. So the next episode, God, I can't. That's the only thing I remember from that episode.
This is where they fight with the horde with the 9s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And then they had that giant one. You know, it destroys like one of the plantations.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that big one that then like bashes in and starts spewing.
And then they go
more
inside,
Flaxus
and
words,
Strel still goes in to help,
Mm-hmm.
and starts. And in the very beginning of
no,
this,
no. Then this is not where the controversy hit, because that happened
Okay.
before that.
Okay. Because in
The
this
controversy
episode, I
is
remember
where-
she's walking to the ship because Hiro. No. This is the beginning one. Yeah. Okay. The beginning of this episode where Hiro is sitting there and 02 is on the way out, and right as he's about to go talk to 02 and chase after 02 again because he really wants to, Ichigo runs out, sees what he's about to do, runs up to him and kisses him and says, "No, me though," basically.
Yeah.
Is like, remember, wouldn't you rather be with me, the one who actually cares about you and doesn't want to just want to throw you away? And he's still torn about it and thinks about it. And because he thinks about it, she's already on the ship with like 20 other dudes. And then proceeds to eat all of them immediately. But, in the course of the next fight. And then they fight, and then they break in. Is this the all of it? And when they break in...
No, that was at the end of an episode.
Okay, so that's
Because-
when they're... Okay.
Yeah,
When this
so
thing spews
basically-
into the, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to find pictures, and I'm going to keep looking, but because I took a lot of them, because there's like just streams of hate at her, of how like she abused Hiro when he was at his lowest point, where he didn't know what was going on, and she just manipulated him.
Again, plays into the negative relationship, but still
Yeah.
good for the person, but it still is. Other outside people could see that this is negative, but the person only sees the
Is
good
it?
and is like,
Oh,
yeah.
here it is. Here they are. Well, I'm just gonna. I had to edit these so I can actually put them in, because apparently pictures are too big that I take
Mm.
on my phone. I don't know.
So 15 is...
So you guys talk about the.
No,
15
Hiro
was the
2
big
and...
fight.
Hiro
Black
2 and
still
0
breaks
get
in.
reunited at 15, at the end of 15.
Yeah,
Um,
at the end when Ichigo brings Hiro over
Which
that,
is
but
one of
she
the
sees
better
him
fucking
driving like
moments
the
of the...
pilot mech. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
he
like,
gets
"Oh,
knocked out,
God."
and then Goro just gets kind of dropped immediately.
Yeah.
And while it's because I think it's because Hiro has such an overflow of C cells now that he basically gets a perfect connection every time after the tumor. It's called a tumor.
No, I
It's
think it's
bizarre.
because he got his memories back.
Maybe no, but it was because he had a Calaxosaur blood in him that he couldn't connect
Yeah,
well.
he basically started becoming a Galactus. That's why he was able to link.
Yeah.
He was becoming that.
And now he has so many C cells. I'm assuming it's just he
Yeah.
can just do it with anything.
yeah, so
probably.
he's able to just link strongly with her
Okay.
because he gets
Mhm.
Galactus like she is, or he's becoming one. That's why he starts growing horns in a couple episodes. So
Here you guys go.
That's a lot. Hold on. Hold on. All right, So it's this episode though when they reunite. Because one of my favorite things about that was when Ichigo is with Hiro and they get a mind meld because it's a perfect connection.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking and she's like, but my kiss is in there though, right? At least my kiss, and it's all 02.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really fucking good because she just gives up and she's like, no, I'm not the one anymore.
and then she
I'm
gets
not
super
even
pissed.
remotely. Yeah, and she's pissed off about it and beats the shit out of Strel for a bit because Strel's still berserking.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point she's still berserking. Remember, she has to headbutt him and knock out Strel for a moment because
because
she's
he has to get
still
Hero in
going
there.
nuts.
The hero can get in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So is it 15 though that people get pissed off about?
I think this is 15.
No,
Because 15 was actually very, very good.
14 when
Which-
she kissed him. That's what
Okay.
everyone got pissed about. It was 14 at the end where she just turned around and kissed him.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
but-
read some of these. Okay, I'll start. Shadow, you get the second one. Ready, get the third one.
Like
What?
in
Are
pictures?
we
We're
reading
going
the
pictures?
hate?
Yeah, the pictures. They're in
the-
Discord.
Okay.
Okay,
Am I reading all these? Okay, so which one am I reading?
you're leading the second one. I hope Ichigo just fucking kills her. Fucking kill. Fuck yourself. Piece of shit. Ichigo has a point that say in times, God, people don't know how to type, not to let them meet. I don't agree with what she did at all, but she didn't deserve all this hate. Didn't unsatisfactory at all episode. Ichigo, why you do this to us and him in a way?
Okay.
And
Well, sorry, gotta get ready for.
Yep.
Fuck this episode. Even though Ichigo saw, even in the past, that 02 and Hero were happy, she still did her thing, being a bitch, being 100% jealous and a bitch. And now this, congratulations, Ichigo's been running for the anime 12 episodes earlier, before it ended. I hope Ichigo just fucking kills herself, fucking selfish piece of fucking shit.
Oh, that's the one from the top one. There's a lot of order. Shadow.
Agreed. And yeah, seems we really have the same taste. You're starting to become a yandere in my eyes.
It's the bottom one. It's the
no.
one below that.
No, guys.
No,
you got it
second
all
one
wrong.
too.
Jesus
Second
Christ,
one
kids.
too. You could do.
Oh
She
no,
could
one
do-
below?
Yeah, the one below has the two, like, you have the same tastes,
What?
I think.
No.
No, I think he's replying to some other comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I had it. Okay, continue.
Jesus Christ, kids. I mean, sure, I waited a fucking week so that I could finally see them talk to each other. Seems now I'll need to wait even more than 1 week. Fuck's sake. Next one, you want me to get the...
Right, but that's amnesia. Something memory loss. But some stuff about amnesia, I don't know why. This isn't time for your theory crafting. This is a time where we thought shame Ichigo. You messed up. Shut up, you bitch ass. Reddit, if you give us a resounding ending.
Seeing how the comment section reacts when you say you still like Ichigo better, it is not surprising you'll see any of them at this. Surprising. I was waiting for this episode for the whole week, and I don't even like this at all. Ichigo is just an egocentric bitch. All this mess is her fault. She says she could do anything for him. Why not committing suicide?
Why not committing a suicide, sir?
Suicide.
I'm fixing that. Okay. And that, I agree, might be the best comment I ever read. I have to agree with
Okay.
that.
So,
Yeah, that was the community outrage.
I don't get that. I'm gonna be real, I don't get that.
That was just like everyone.
No, people were hard 02 fans.
Yeah.
Like, she was like best waifu
Do they...
on
Are they
many
all loners
charts.
who live in their base? Like, do they not know how
Probably a lot of
relationships
them.
work?
A lot of them were probably living in their mother's basement.
Well, that's
That's no
fine,
pleasure.
but it's like, that's how relationships work, though. You don't get one, and it's like that's it. 100%. It's questionable for a while. Like you don't just,
I don't know, man.
I feel like this is a problem of our modern generation.
I don't know, man. Like, truthfully, I take a girl to dinner. I already know. On that.
Hey, Tinder. Tinder's
Okay.
a wonderful thing.
You see, I go to Tinder when I have a couple extra condoms laying around. I'll go to
Yeah.
Tinder.
Yeah, I don't get this.
Yeah,
all
people are just
I
mad.
see is like
You
my
don't truly understand anime relationships and fan
Yeah, ship
relationships
wars.
to their wife.
Shipping
and
wars.
losers that go super obsessive over them.
Hey, shipping wars are.
Do you not?
We've
Well,
lost
it's like,
many
do these
lives
people
to
understand
ship-
what a double-edged sword is? Do these people understand where, like, that's the reason that the reunion is so much sweeter, is because they had that moment where she was violent and and it's like that's because
Well,
that's why.
she got the crazy bitch from her man, and
But
people in anime love crazy bitches.
Ichigo was just what I saw from that was like she was getting out her rage, and maybe she punched a little bit too much, but that was just her getting pissed off because the person she was looking over to for her entire life, when she finally saw it, was like, nope, all this girl, and now this raging girl who just attacked her not a couple days ago and ripped her arm off is now the only one that your lover loves. And it's like, yeah, I'd be kind of pissed off too.
Yeah,
But, and
the
again,
anime
she still
don't
has to
look at it
subdue
like-
her. She's still not going to let her take... She's still not going to just take Hero again. Because even when you go in there and you see her state, she's like connected to the frame, basically. She's connected to the Franxx because she's gone full Klaxosaur. Like, she's not holding back at all, and her horns are growing into this mech, and she's literally brain dead at that point. And Hero takes a long time to even get into her. Remember, it takes like... I don't understand this. I don't understand this outrage. This is a bunch of people who don't know how things work. Talking about how things
You
work.
don't.
No, I just wanted to show you the
Internet-
community.
It's so weird. It's just...
During this part.
It's just a pissy fit.
These are how internet waifus work.
But this is just a pissy fit. This isn't even
Oh.
worth talking about.
He never watched the REM fire.
Oh.
I'd say that
God,
was
flames-
worse than this.
I don't know. Have the flames?
The
still
flames
around?
are still burning to this day. I can see
think
them.
The flames are still around. Yeah. I don't think those flames have died yet.
This
That
is
was-
such a hard pissy fit.
That
It's
was
like,
literally like
but-
the.
That was the biggest
that
one.
is-
so you like...
It was just-
So
no.
it feels like these people just preferred like the... I don't get it. These people are connecting themselves too much to the main protagonist. They're trying to like see themselves as the protagonist a bit too
Escapism.
much.
That's anime. It's a form of
I
escape.
know, and that's why I don't like certain ones.
Okay. Escapism.
And this one goes out of its way to make it different. It's like, hey, we're actually character and not just bland. And it's like, fuck.
Man, but
Well, escapism's stronger when you try and do. Like escapism.
I get it. I should
just
trust
feel
me,
like-
guys out there who are really pissed at all I
Anytime
just
I'm
said.
about to get immersed
I'm
into
lonely
that.
too. Okay, I'm very desperate too. You don't need to
I know.
100%.
okay, Shadow, you don't have to go down this.
Poison, you're in the same boat as me.
No. Dude, I gotta still have my ex calling me from 3 years ago. If I wanted, I could get it.
Well, no, it's not about just getting an ad. It's about finding somebody you can. Mike. It's about finding somebody you can actually spend your life with.
Tonight, I mean, I can get on Tinder and make that happen.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
I have alcohol.
Oh my god.
You don't even. I can go buy pot. I'm in Vegas, so I can get even easier, cheaper.
Ugh.
Yeah, you have
I'm
to
not talking about
Cracker
just
Barrel
to
here,
fuck you.
dude.
It's like an actual
Y'all should exist.
relationship is actually a bit difficult to come around. And depending on the person,
60% of marriages end in divorce.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
60%
because
of
people
marriages
jump
are
in.
also started premature.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that that's not even a good accurate because it just goes by the beginning of the marriages to the ending of the marriages of 1 year, so it doesn't account for how long you've been in a marriage.
Oh, look at that. But
Yep.
What
Like,
was the thing? What was it? Was
it's
a statement
fine. You
something
just
made
don't.
about
You just gotta not connect yourself to the.
Nowadays-
if you can genuinely, here's the thing. If anybody who sees this, if anyone ever sees this, can see this
Hey,
and go
our
like,
last video
and
had like 11
genuinely,
views.
Our
and
first video had
genuinely give me a reason
Yeah.
why this was an extremely overacted thing, and why what Ichigo did at the last second was a bitch fit or a pissy
let's finally
fit.
get some comments on these videos.
I would get a... No, there's none. There's still nobody. It's fine.
Hey.
That's how YouTube is right now. It's going to be like that for a while. That's the problem with YouTube.
No, Shadow. Come on, we want to protect ourselves, so we just turned comments off. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious if I do on a call. Like, everyone comment down below. Turns comments off.
Smash that like button, hit that subscribe
Disables
button.
likes.
Oh man.
It's
No,
just
you enable likes, you just disable dislikes.
only showing likes.
No. You see, we moved the like button to the.
To the dislike side.
No. You take the
Not a
like
habit.
button on top
Okay.
of the
I
play button. So when
don't
click
get
play,
it.
they
I don't
click
get this
on.
outrage. I'm gonna say
Okay,
that.
let's get to the bad part.
I understand it. I agree it's extreme, but I understand it.
Okay, this
The
ends
okay,
the
16 is the household episode.
yeah
Where
the
they get
highest
stranded.
household.
I
arc.
am going to mention this. They did a very good job. Most of this episode is nothingness. But when they learn how to act independently, they do cook. And they follow the instructions. And it turns out well. So, you
Right.
broke a trope. Good
They did
job.
break the trope. I will agree with that.
Because I was getting pissed about that recently. Because it happened
Hey.
like 4 in a row.
You went on a rant for a while about that one, yes.
Every time, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? He ate those cookies.
I'm gonna put up a cooking show next time.
Don't you do that.
No.
Hey, you don't want to watch food porn?
No.
No.
I'm not talking to you. You don't have an option to this. This is the me and Reddit thing.
Said no.
7. Does anybody have anything to say about the beginning of the household episode? Remember, this is like 3 episodes.
Not really. It was a good episode. Good filler arc.
It was character, yeah.
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 Well, it was a good character development. Brought
These
a lot
next
of
two
the characters
episodes
out of
are a decent arc.
17. 9 joins up with the
Actually,
group.
3.
And based around and it becomes based around reproduction. The whole generic
Yeah.
perfect society without emotion, song and dance. What most people have seen 100 times. There's a big problem is when it starts hitting it hard on, hey, perfect society, blanking all emotions, even though all of your characters up to this point have shown emotions. Even the most bland generic one is still showing emotions. Case in point, when the marriage shows up and he's like, hey, what's going on here? You don't have the right to do this. That's anger. You're showing emotion. You can't write shows that can't have emotion. You're a human being. You are always going to write characters with emotion because you're either going to forget or you're not going to be able to keep writing. It's a problem. You shouldn't
hit
do
it
that.
then.
It's a bad trope. It's a really bad trope that you should go into
The
like
issue
emotional
is they-
depriving or something like that, or like depression, emotional depression where you depress the emotions. They're still there, but for the most part it has to be something extreme. Because hell, I'm even going to cut ahead to the future. When one of the 9s die, they all get pretty fucking pissed. But yet they're the ones saying emotions. That's stupid. Ha! How stupid are you? We're perfect because we don't have this. It's like... oh.
The biggest issue I have is that they decided on what they wanted to name the show, and that's kind of what caused all these issues.
No, we'll get to that.
Yes,
We'll
I'm just
we'll
saying
get to the part I can equally
I'm
agree
just-
on what your
I'm
premise
just
was.
saying that. I'm just saying that now, and that's what
Okay.
created this issue. Okay.
Okay,
but
so
in this episode,
these two.
17 was for me.
17 was
17
the
16 and 15 were like 16 was a downturn and then 17 was a collapse back into just being a generic
17,
generic
yeah,
show.
17 was the whole like, I want to have a baby. Why can't I have? And he
yeah
starts.
it just and it
then the
became
lesbian
very generic
Maxim,
again.
and it's like, you know, and it's like, yeah,
yeah. It was just
it was a very meh episode.
okay. So how about this? Because all of them are basically kind of meh until you get to
No, 18
Kokoi,
Kokoro.
banging what's his fuck
Yeah. And
Mitsuyu.
then they have the wedding.
Yeah. Okay. Then that's about to say the only other big point in this is the wedding,
Mhm.
and then
19 is the scientist backstory,
yeah,
Which-
it goes into like the history before the
which I was like,
plantations.
which at
Again,
first I was really
I
pissed
didn't-
off
I
because it's
don't
like,
mind
oh my god,
what
who gives a
goes
fuck
on,
about the
but
scientist?
Oh no. Like you know what? They needed some world building in this anime. They
Well,
had
that's when it
too
was
much
fine. They did
presumption.
the-
And now
And the problem
we
is they
tie it
threw
back to
all
episode 10.
into literally one fucking episode.
Yeah.
You don't world build like this. You world build
That was a plot dump, is what it was.
do a lot
Yeah.
of other stuff. You just don't do
It was a
huge
plot dump
exposition
with
dump
a
in
little
one
bit of
episode.
story about
like,
how
that-
they got their memories erased.
That
The worst
is
part about the plot
most
dump is that it didn't make
infuriating ever.
sense to.
You know what I mean? Like
The civilization collapses too quickly. It's far too fast. It's like within 100 years,
Yeah,
civilization
if
collapses.
Giant Kaiju was coming after you, Shadow.
No, but like
If Godzilla's
Full
running
on.
around, I don't think our cities would
full on
help.
collapses and people are like, I'm fine with not reproducing. I'm fine with living in a pod. Within 50 years.
he's saying,
Would you be okay with living in a pod, Poison? From
The
your life
change
to
in
now, would
lifestyle.
you be okay with living in a pod?
No, I wouldn't be able
Because
to
you
imagine.
lived
What
half
if I
this
told
time it
you-
took for them to get to
what
that
if-
point.
What if I told you you would be immortal though?
No, I would never. That would be a life without masturbation. Can't get that.
But you have a special machine.
No,
you
and
can
you'd
put
never be
into
able to
that will just
reproduce.
make you
And
bunch
yeah,
of
you'd
pleasure.
never be able to reproduce. You
You
can't
have a
do anything with
machine
that.
that just lets you feel pleasure though.
No, it's something that's personal. It's like making something with their own hands.
You know what I mean? Like there's a little thing that gives you the hand. Any type of hand you want.
That's why
just-
fleshlights are for pussies.
It just doesn't make
You'll even lubricate it.
sense
for
in
you.
how quickly they jump to this. It doesn't.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Shadow.
Yeah,
and I agree.
You would have so much pushback.
Fleshlights are for pussies. We both agree.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you, Shadow. Good. Again, like I don't mind world building. This is something that should have been done maybe a little bit every
Yeah, it should have
You know
been
what I mean?
content dumped in one.
3-4 minutes here, 4 minutes here. You know what I mean? Like I'm usually not a fan of flashbacks, but if it's used right, it's a great world
Again,
building.
earlier with the storybook, that was really good.
You know,
You did that well.
Yeah.
And then here it's just like, ugh.
here it's just a huge exposition dump. They build a bunch of value on this female character who literally has almost no fucking value. Okay, besides she fucking died in the first Fran when she tried to pilot it. Like,
Yeah,
it
which was his
just-
wife.
Yeah, but it's like it added. It's like it was such a.
It
big
added
It
some
exposition
didn't
stuff.
dump.
do anything to the character. He could have done everything he did in the future. He could have done Mike. He could have done everything he did in the future, and it would have been the same though.
Yeah.
Like everything could have just carried on, and it still would have been the same without his fucking part in it.
Yeah. No,
You could have
it's
just
like-
done little bits where he was becoming the scientist, and Ape. Oh god, that fucking name is so stupid. But
But yeah, no, this dumb that should definitely slowly rather
okay,
than just
Poison. What was
huge
the connection
exposition
between this
dump.
and episode 10 you were wanting to talk about?
You kind of get the explanation between the pod that you see is the husband in. Because in the first one, you just see him in the pod, and now you see like why he was in the pod, what the pods mean. The pods. In episode 10, you see,
Oh, pod. Well,
yeah, you see the you see
No, I
the
was talking about
pods.
like they're in the pod. I was talking about the kids being in the pods when they're the kids are in the pods at the end because they get thrown off into the pods and they get frozen to wait for something.
No. Oh no, I was talking about episode 10 where Willie what's this fuck wandered around the city,
Yeah,
and
but the pods don't. It's
yeah,
too
you
quick.
see his
You're not
husband.
gonna become a pod person in 50
No, I'm not
years.
saying that. I'm saying now you get the tie-in to why he's in the pod. When you were just like didn't understand why he was in that pod.
What?
So you
I
see,
think you misunderstood what I was saying at one point.
yeah, I think I did, might have.
Because I knew why he was in the pod. I just said being in the pod was stupid.
Yeah,
Like, there's
well,
no
that's
point
because
to
you
it.
knew about what the pods meant.
Yeah,
I'm saying that this gives it clarity of why we're there,
they're
it's
just
still
stupid and don't
stupid
make any
thing.
sense.
but
And you
It's
don't
good,
even
man.
need to be in the pod to be immortal, because the guy and the girl at the end are immortal, and all the trainers and all the nanas and papas, not the papas, but the nanas are all immortal. You know?
is he a
So
nana?
what's the point of the pod?
Is he a nana?
He's a male nana. I don't know what the fuck he is. He's the military instructor, even though she is. I don't. They never talk about him, for the most part.
Well, he does
20
have
is
a-
aliens. Who likes aliens?
Yeah. So this So this is where I stopped watching until like recently, purely from being scared of one video title, and that video title was "How to Ruin a Great Anime."
Ah.
You see, it's fine with twists. Twists are fine. When your story is designed around a twist is fine. It makes sense.
But this is
For
jumping
instance-
a Kleister shark, though.
For
I don't
instance,
know. I think this is falling off a cliff. Not a
no,
twist.
for instance, let me get to where I'm going. For instance, the beginning of Psycho has a twist, and there's a specific cinema term, but that's just people stroking themselves and giving an overexcited term for something that's very simple. There's a beginning event that creates the film. Now, for the first, 40 minutes of Psycho, it's about a girl stealing money and trying to get away with it. And then she goes to a hotel and gets murdered. And the money becomes a side thing, and it's a twist in the story, and it's like, oh, this changed, this became a crime and getaway, and she's worried about the law and having a heart attack, to she's getting murdered in the shower, and we're changing characters and changing perspective. That was done well because that was written for it.
Oh, is that
The ending of the Shyamalan movie with the ghost dad and the kid, and the kid's like, I see dead. Not the kid's like, I see dead.
Yeah,
the kid knows
I
the
know.
father's dead and still sees the father. That made sense because that was the whole, that worked.
Yeah.
Having a twist, to have a twist, you really have to fucking work for it times. This show kind of didn't work for it.
Yeah, no.
It does a little bit, but falls
There's
off.
a reason I agreed with him at the beginning until we argued about that one point. But this is where it dropped some part.
It wants to go full Gundam here.
This is a huge one, yeah.
Mhm.
There was a
This
couple of
is-
small ones earlier, but this was the one that kind of gave me that
Arguably small
main
ones.
thought. Yeah, no, definitely arguable. But this is definitely around the time where I was like, what the fuck did they do and what made them think this made any sense?
Yeah,
And here's the thing. I could somewhat be fine. I could be more okay with it if they went to the moon or Mars or somewhere close. And they didn't do the obvious one-way trip thing. And they didn't do what they do to final version of Strel, where the final version of Strel looks awesome and beautiful. It has a wedding dress look. And it has that mentality. And it's like super fucking serious. And there's a lot of really good things with the final version of Strel. However, when he gets in it again, and it changes, you ruin it a lot.
don't talk about how it changes. Just put a picture up.
No.
Put a
No.
picture up.
No.
Put a
You can
picture
find
up.
it if you want.
My big issue with this part is the space combat was worse
Really?
than the ground fighting.
Okay.
For something
Yeah, it's
that
just
wanted to
explosions. It's just
become Gundam,
Yeah.
somehow the action just downgraded massively. It was
Well,
literally
it's the
just
same thing as most Gundam space battles, too. It's just he shoots
It
an
is.
explosion.
but it's just still it's like
And it's...
I don't know.
One of the bigger problems... Then you have a weird scenario of 9... Oh, wait.
was
That was the
hysterical.
next
That
episode. That
was
was like 2 episodes
hysterical.
ahead.
Yeah, I was
Again,
hysterical.
This is
21
them going
is good.
down into the weapon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, I kind of like that of where 02 is chasing after Hero. But again, if 02 and Hero wasn't done so well earlier, I would have completely stopped watching. If it wasn't for 02 and Hero, they were the only reason that in any reason I would watch. Because that was a really stupid twist.
Mhm.
So
Well,
the
at
only
this
thing that
point,
would
you
keep
didn't
me
know
is
that
the
was
two
the
main
twist.
characters.
At this point where she just go,
No,
oh,
we do,
she's-
because she's expositoring to him the whole time. She's taking him to the Strel. She's taking him to the perfect form Strel thing.
Yeah, but at this point, we don't know that. If I just remember here, this is how the interact. They go down the pipe. Clysix attacks, opens his mouth. There's the princess. She goes.
She
She
comes
steals-
out, takes Hero.
Yeah, she takes Hero. She goes
After
and
dealing
activates
with
the weapon.
Old guy who gives a fuck.
Yeah, and while in the weapon,
She's
she then
expositoring.
describes us what's really been going on, and that the whole entire thing was aliens.
Yeah,
Which,
again, it was just
you
kind
know,
of another
even the Klaxosaur stuff, just the
monologue.
Klaxosaur stuff,
Dumb.
that's fine. If you just had the Klaxosaurs and they were like, oh, aliens, and it was just like the planetary thing, and they have a fleet out there hiding, waiting for the because they didn't know where the Klaxosaurs went, the Klaxosaurians went, that's fine. But the length they go to stretch that is just so ridiculous at points. It makes it so hard to give
How I wanted it to end was this. Klaxosaur, it was a look what we could become. And Klaxosaurs were still the enemy. That's what I wanted. I didn't get what I
even fine
wanted.
with some of the ways they took it, of like the Klaxosaurs being allies. It's just the way they do certain scenes is, again, gonna go back to Land Illustrious. Why did her arms just disappear? Why did she just lose her arms if they were falling at a specific rate?
Because
and she
her
goes down?
specific body composition decomposes.
Fuck
in
you, Poison.
water.
You know as well as I do. That's bullshit. We talked about this. No, I don't care, but that was bullshit. It's just...
Her specific composition decomposes in the water.
It's just so disappointing when that happens and you're like, but you were doing well again, and you go back to a 5. Why did you go back to a 5?
This goes back to a 3 with good animations.
No, I think this is pretty average, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, this is an average mecha that isn't
Poison
Gundam.
there.
Yeah. I won't say it's bad as a 3. 3 is like Bandit King. At some points. At
Yeah,
some
okay,
point.
that's better.
I corrected myself. But I think it's... I would say if someone's watching it and they're like scared about these next few episodes, I'll hold their hand and I'll say, stick with it. You have to see this out to the end. And I'll gently pet them as they go to watch these episodes. I'll buy them a nice 5th of gin.
Well, again, I think like 21 and most of 22 is good, actually, though, because 21 is 02 fighting to get to... Is 02 fighting to get to
No,
Strel.
it's
gets
Hero
inside of it.
wondering what's happening to 02
Hero, yeah.
and them trying to start... See, here's the thing about this. I like what they did with the everyone else. I like the fact that they are just trying to rebuild their society, or rebuild a society they have no clue how to.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. It's good.
And they're like, oh, the ground is fucked.
Yeah.
The ground's just fucked. And it's like, there's some really good things there. It's just...
Buried in shit.
Yeah, the ending, there's some, like, even, like, 22 and 23, I think are really, well, 21 and 22 are good, but 20 is stupid, and 23 is really stupid because it gives one of the worst designs ever. But, and even, like, 02 becoming basically disabled and just randomly getting cut up, and Hero getting dragged out and exhausted, and then Goro freaking out on Hero because he's like, you're our real one that we look up to still. Ichigo's our leader, but she even looks up to you. So you gotta fucking shape up. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And he looks off and sees 02 out staring at the stars again. He's like, God damn it, I gotta... And runs out there and is like, oh no, you're getting cut to shit again. And then, yeah. Like, that's good. I like that reaction, that relationship. It's just...
It's
The way they got there was stupid.
yeah.
And I really like that. And it's why some parts of these are 7 and 8 again.
It's like
but
watching
some parts are
third
6, and this
puppy
is in the
eating
same episode you're getting now. And 23, you like literally emotionally had me on the brink where I was about to like fucking go all out and start bursting into tears and shit. And they just turned Steel Apex into a giant woman. And it's like, what the fuck? What is this? Why?
That was also like, it wouldn't be as bad if I had that the design to kick over the edge.
It's just so nonsensical.
It was
It's like, I get it.
honestly-
And again, G Gundam. You have the connection of whoever's piloting the Gundam is that Gundam. That's there. But it's not like they become the fucking... Why? Why? It doesn't make sense. It just there's a shark and you're like, nah, I don't want to jump that shark. I want to jump that fucking iceberg. And then you see the Titanic bouncing on another iceberg and you're like, that's the one. And then you see two Titanics bouncing on top of each other, creating a diamond to meet up with a third Titanic that's bouncing on top of those two. And you're like, that's the one. It's so ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
It gets stupid. Why is her body turned to stone?
Why is it still jiggly?
What?
It's when she moves, she has flesh now. It's like fleshy, like her breasts jiggle.
I know.
It means the mech when it transforms.
It's so fucking like I'm even fine with her turning to stone on Earth. I'm even fine with her turning to stone because like her soul's gone or whatever the fuck. I'm fine with that.
I'm not.
And she pairs up with here. I'm fine with it's just. And the whole 9 thing doesn't make sense because they only show like 3. They only show like 3 of the 9s from that point on. We're giving up.
We forgot to talk about the little freak out.
Yeah, the 9 freaks out over how they're supposed to be like genetic, how they're supposed to be repressing and shit. And even though they're like, Papa, we're waiting for Papa. We're gonna die here because Papa said we're gonna die here, right? That's their mentality. They're gonna die fighting there. And then one of them gets picked up and gets torn to shreds. It's like, I don't want to die! It's like, what? What you just said? You're on the planet that's about to blow up. You believe everything Papa says. He told you were about to blow up. You're worrying about dying? Well, you should...
I mean,
what?
that's pretty brutal.
You were just giving the other team shit for that. Did you get high and forget what you were writing, sir? Like,
Shadow, you gotta give him a little bit.
Yeah, that is a very gruesome death. That's like burning alive.
It doesn't matter. Your
That's
whole life
worse
is
than
die.
burning
You're saying
alive.
you're gonna die. You're
That's
insulting
getting
other
eaten
people
alive.
for leaving their positions.
Eating alive.
It's like, but they're not. They're mechas. The only person who should be feeling any pain is the person piloting. The other one shouldn't be
Yeah,
worried.
the woman was the one we heard screaming. The
No,
other
but
one
they're
still
not.
got
Yeah,
eaten
but they're not
alive.
really like.
The other one still got eaten
Weren't they
alive.
the mask people though in that one?
I don't know.
Like, I would assume because they don't show up again.
Well,
But
they're
like,
dead. They're literally dead.
the other
They're
pilots
in
don't show up
some
either.
purple thing's stomach.
Yeah, that got killed by the Alpha.
It's so fucking confusing who even dies there. And then you could assume the ones that don't show up died from like
Well, we only know one 9.
died
really.
from the not getting their treatments or whatever. You can assume
Also,
that.
by the way, because we're let's finish this and I'll tell this afterwards. It's kind of like a side note.
24 is basically
The end.
the long drift of 02 and Hero drifting to the other planet to
drifting to the Mars,
to fucking end it, and
birth, home world.
Hero starts. Hero gets
Those-
drifted off because whatever the faction is, they don't fucking matter. Convinces him to go into a sleep momentarily, and it's such a fucking torn episode because at the same time it's 02 and Hero, and that's really good. But
Yeah, because you see their
it's
chemistry
the
like after
stupidest
years.
fucking mech design ever, and they're doing the thing that I know I'm gonna hate. I know they're not gonna get back, and it's a trope, and it's an annoying one because it doesn't give you that.
But they do get back. Their souls get back.
That's not what. That's not the same.
I know it's not the same.
This
I wanted
it's just
to
a
see
thing that a
them.
lot of movies do that pisses me off. Of like, oh, we'll meet again someday. It's like, no, you're gonna die there, and even if your soul meets, it's still not the same connection. There's a difference.
Purely because also that's like hundreds of years afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's just,
There's
and
no
the stuff that the
portal.
people back on Earth are saying is really fucking nice. And it's actually heartwarming. And the stuff that they're talking about is heartwarming. Of like, 02 is just passing time. It's like, do you know any of these stars? No, I don't know any of these stars. Oh, well, we can just name our own then. We can just make up new constellations. It's like, that's nice. What they're doing is nice. But they're in the stupidest shit. It's just so... Ugh.
And in the end, they don't even beat the big bad. They just slow him down.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
no,
still
because
there.
he thinks that, well, eventually everyone
just-
will come back to me.
Well, no.
it's like-
They're just gonna go get new soul.
No,
just
they
can't
beat
be
him.
as
But what he
aggressive.
says is like, I'll show up eventually.
Yeah.
I'll show up again.
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
civilization gets to that point again, and I get recreated, is what he's saying.
He pretty much exists still. He just
Eventually,
doesn't
he's
have
saying the
power.
concept of him will exist, I believe.
Yeah,
doesn't
so
have
Reddit,
power to
how
take people.
Shadow sees it is basically Fate Stay, the Guardian complex.
I see.
I'm always
How-
gonna come back.
Yeah.
And just I might not, but it's not gonna be me. You got me.
Well, no,
I'm holding
for
this
example,
out.
Shadow,
But
in
I'm gonna
Fate
get you in the
Stay-
long run.
In Fate Stay, there's two different forces running that are basically superpowers. There's Gaia, which is the will of the planet, which is looking out for the planet.
And there's
And-
Axion, which is the space force.
No,
Okay.
I don't know the actual word. I think it's Estra.
I don't remember the word.
Yeah, that is the will of humanity. That doesn't give a fuck about anything but humanity. And basically, they're concepts that will never die.
Yeah.
But no, what I
Yeah.
see him more as, it's like the entity lived, but they free spirits he had, which was all his power. I gave him all his technology and everything like that. So now he has to go and try and collect new spirits, but he can't be as aggressive as he was before now because he's lost all his power. So he has to go back to slowly building up power. But that entity's still the same being that was at.
See, I saw it as like he thought of himself as the natural end of the civilization. Like eventually
Well, the
everyone
next-
will
next
go
step.
back to this same mentality
that's
of
part
we
of
have
his
to
goal.
become a group mentality and just infinite peace, void
Yeah, he's
energy
a
creatures.
hive mind. Yeah, he's a hive
Yeah.
mind. Yeah. I agree with that, but I just feel like I feel like you're like kind of feeling like he died, but his
Yeah.
philosophy will live on. Where I think he's actually dead.
I think he's more
Kind
like
of
a
useless.
concept
Yeah.
where
Oh, man.
it's SCI isn't just a concept. It made Archer, but you know what I'm saying. It made sure it from learning. By the way, that backstory I kind of
So
still doesn't
I'm
play
just-
Shiro's OPness, but
No, nowhere near.
Archer's is explained.
I'm going to talk about, like, okay, so here's the biggest part with the ending of the souls and whatnot. It's always too bittersweet, and it's people say, oh, well, it's romantic because they're going to meet and they meet under the sakura tree that she planted when she died and became a statue, and her statue broke. But, like, I get that. But it's been done too many times. Like, way too fucking many times.
Name one other one.
Final
Yeah, I'm
Fantasy.
calling you on the spot.
Final Fantasy.
Which one?
Final Fantasy.
Which one?
Doesn't matter.
Which one, Shadow?
There's like 6. Type 0 does it.
0.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
The,
hasn't
uni-
picked
the
that
universe
up.
resets and they meet each other in different universe and they have different events.
Wolfram did it.
Wolf's Rain does do it, and that was thank you for doing that because I almost forgot about that. Wolf Rain does it. Okay. And here's the thank you, because I actually was generally going to forget about that. Wolf Rain does it in a better way, because it's the relationship that, oh god, I want to call him Kira.
Okay, I'm
Kira
gonna let
has
you-
with the Flower Maiden isn't like, I want to fuck the Flower Maiden. It's, I'm where I need to be, and I need to protect her to get to the end of the journey.
I'm pretty
But
sure
he does
wanted to
care
fuck
for the Flower Maiden. But when the universe resets and their souls get reborn and they're all human again, he's hunting for the flower. He gets the idea to hunt for the Flower Maiden again and goes after her, not for the same reason, though. Not because he's a wolf and he's going to get the end of his destiny. He gets to live a happy life now and not die coughing up his own blood as the world ends. You know? It's a different mentality. He's getting the chance to live a better life. Hero and Zero Two, if they lived, could have still lived a very, very happy life. And you can assume I'm not just saying, well, they didn't get the chance to fuck. Because they probably did the whole time while they weren't, you know. they
No,
were probably
she
doing
didn't have
that
a
during the
physical.
couple episodes where they were just
Yeah,
sitting around in their room.
she can't physically have babies.
She can't have babies, but they could probably still fuck. I mean, she was even saying, do you want to see what comes after a kiss? Remember?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so they could probably still fuck. It's just, and they got like what, a year together if you include the ship travel? Because what was that, a year or two? When they
No,
were
it was
traveling
8
in that?
years.
Yeah.
It was 3?
Right.
Was it
Yeah,
3
it
or
It was
like
8.
It was 8 years. Okay, so the 8 years they were traveling, they had 8 years together, maybe 8.5 if you consider the time together on Earth, right?
Mhm.
And you can't really have a proper connection with the machine wife, even if she's melded to your mind. You're together, but you're not like together.
Physical.
You can't you can't just like have any of those nice moments. And that's what they're robbed of when you do that spiritual ending. And they get back because it's like, but then they get to live their lives happily, but no, they're not because they don't have the fucking Like, they don't have the memories. If they do fall in love, they're going to be like, I love you, and I don't know why I love you. It's going to be what it is. And it's going to be like, I don't have that connection with you that I used to.
Spark from their previous life re-trigger.
Yeah.
And then maybe they'll develop a real relationship.
But, like, it's just so...
But
I mean, there's a anime about this.
It's just such a not... It's a personal thing, and I get it. Some people fall in love with that. But it's just such a terrible ending for me. Because I am a bleeding heart when it comes to romance. This show did get me to cry at a moment. I am a bit of a bleeding heart when it comes to this shit. It's just...
Also,
when you do an ending like that, it just ruins parts of it.
Because he uses the term bleeding heart other than he's a bitch.
I agree there, but...
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me, Poison, who also agreed he cried at the end of
No, I agree.
Also...
I'm not going to say I'm a bleeding heart. I'm going to say I'm a bitch at some points. I ain't going to say I have a bleeding heart.
It's not a bad thing to have emotions, Poison. You gotta become a pod person now? You're gonna cut off your dick and become a pod person because you ain't no bitch?
No, I am a bitch.
I ain't no bitch! Cut my dick off! Poison,
I'll say, no, I'm a fucking bitch. Please don't cut my dick off. I need that for later.
I ain't getting no pussy. I don't need no dick. Take it. You could use it better than me.
Take this! Take this dick! Not in the good way!
In the eyes, and as soon as he cuts it off,
just stare at him all passionately as he's bringing the knife down.
Then lick him. Then lick him as he done.
Yep.
Lick him like right when the blade's about to lead him over to lick him.
So one of my things that I'm already probably going to do with the show, I've already decided. I'm still not sure what I'm going to rate it.
Okay.
I will eventually, I do want to do an experiment where I want to see somebody. I want to get somebody that hasn't watched this show before, knows nothing about it, and I want to talk with them about it after every episode and see what they think.
So
that's what I've already decided I'm going to do eventually at one point.
So says.
No.
No, this has already been tainted by all of
somebody else.
You were in the party. He was in the
you were in the party. That's why he was.
Oh, I tainted the fuck out of his mentality.
Because this is so fucking confused. This show is just back and forth. Like from like episode 1, it starts negative, then at next episode goes positive. Next episode's like a bit more positive, then back to negative, then positive, then negative. It's like stop.
Yeah, so
shows like a critical patient at the hospital.
So because we're winding down, the manga does some things differently.
Oh God, not this again.
Yeah, it is different. I'll say that much. So I'll tell you. You remember episode 4 where 9 just randomly comes there?
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of like suggest why he's there, but you don't know why he's there, and it's never explained. You remember that scene, Shadow? Yep. Well, in the anime or the manga, he actually apparently comes with 02. Mm-hmm. He's there, like from like chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a very big difference. And instead of what's her name? 02 riding with Mitsu, she rides with 9? I think. I don't know. They changed like big things in the story.
Now the question is which one follows the light novel?
I don't think there's a light novel.
Alright. So, would you like to go into final opinions, or do you have anything else?
Sure. I'll finish it off because it was my...
Alright. So, Rudda, I'll let you go first.
Me? I thought Poison was going.
Well, he said he was going to finish it off because it was his.
Oh, you finish it off?
Fuck it. I'll go first.
Okay. No, I'll go first. It's fine.
No, I'm ladies first. I'm going first.
Wait, you wait. No,
bitch. I'm a bitch. So I'll let you fuck me with my pussy right now.
I say bitches for last, okay? Let the man lead. Okay, so, Darling in the Franxx. Overall, the show was a lot better than when I came in. Okay? The show just felt, I don't know, again, like, especially towards the end, the show just didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do.
At the end,
but at the end, it does. A little bit early on, in my opinion, very objective.
Yeah, that's objective. I can give
it's
you
very
like why you see that, but I can argue against it.
Very objective, yes. Overall, the show is not as bad as I was expecting. Definitely has a good amount of high points, but for every high point, there's a low point. I always felt like the whole show they were taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That just kind of really hurt the show because I could never get immersed into it. You know, the show never really attempted to world had was interesting from the outside. You know, kind of a hybrid steampunk theme. You know, just really like mysterious council running everything. And instead, they just did a huge plot dump on 1 episode and just tried to do everything in there, just way too much.
Yeah.
So the world was never really properly built the way you build a world. So overall, I didn't like that too much. Again, the action had its moments where it was okay. You know, towards the end, I felt like it got really bland. I understand it's Gundam space, so you shoot a gun, you cause an explosion, but there have been some good Gundam anime that done good space fights. So I don't take that as an excuse. So the action was subpar. Definitely character driven, and the characters were definitely the strong points to win care to try to make you care about. But overall, I would say the show is about a.
What? You cut out a bit right at the last
Yeah,
second.
yeah, like right as you gave your rating.
Overall, I give this show a 6.
Yeah.
All right, so it's me then. Cause
Okay, let me rephrase this. You give the show a 6, but if it didn't have that last arc,
Maybe a 7.
okay.
Overall, the show just still felt like too much of 2 step forward, 1 step back. Like anytime they did something good, they did something bad right after.
Okay. Shadow?
I'm gonna.
Or do you
I'm
want to go
still
last?
torn on. I still don't have a proper rating for it, even after all this. Because like Bandit King Jin, like 40 minutes in, I thought of all the bad stuff and was like, yeah. But even this, I'm still thinking about all the good stuff, and it's just like, it fights each other so hard and so starkly.
Well, I'll say mine, and you think about.
No, I have something. I'm going someplace.
Okay.
So
I'm scared.
because I've been thinking about this for a
too.
while.
Hold my hand.
And when it comes down
Mentally
to
holding
it,
hands.
this is
we're holding them right
probably
now.
this is probably going to end up being, if you skip out all the bad shit and you can get past, because most of the bad shit in the beginning is understandable, like the sexual position and whatnot. That all makes sense and is kind of led into later. But the time they do it is negative.
What do you call it?
And like, even the fucking, like they even have stupid shit with the pistol and Stamen. That is definitely negative because that has no point in being in there.
Mm-hmm.
That just serves to confuse. And with the double names, what they're also called parasites, and they're parasites, and then they're plant whatever.
And they're named after plant genitalia.
It's just they do stuff to confuse and they do stuff wrong, but at other times they do things incredibly well. And as of right now, I'm going to give it an incredibly high rating, probably because it does stuff and it breaks tropes that other anime are all more than willing to fall over head first into, consistently time and time again, even though they do the trope of a bad twist at the last arc.
That's not a trope, they just did a bad twist.
It still ends up being one of the best relationships ever, because they do have relationships, and yes, ideal. They have, what they end up having is they have a real relationship. Even ones that I don't really care much for, they still fuck, and they still try to have kids, and they still are pregnant. And it's just so tearing. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to be incredibly generous on this one and give it an 8. Because the stuff it does is so much better than the stuff it fails at doing.
Okay.
If it's had a bit of a better writer, or maybe somebody to correct the one writer or 2 writers and said, hey, maybe don't do that. Maybe that's a bit crazy, or maybe tone it back a bit, you would have a much better show, like an almost perfect.
Wasn't full time either.
Yeah.
It should clarify that wasn't part time. Continue.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Done with
You
that.
gave it an 8. Wow.
Ah.
I thought.
Yep. Okay. Without that last arc, would it have changed?
Yeah,
Or
it would have
not that
100%
bad
been
thing?
an 8, and I wouldn't have had to think that much about it. That last arc did some really huge jumps that I'm being
Okay.
very gracious and grateful and just skimming
Okay.
hard.
If that last arc had no mistakes but no high points,
Here's the thing. You can make that last arc much better if Strel Apex didn't turn into a giant woman.
yeah,
Would have been like 20 times better.
yeah,
Would have been much more manageable.
I could definitely
Would have actually
understand the
made it
video
more
on how I
relatable
could
too,
animate.
because he's just talking to the spirit of 02, not even 02 anymore. It's just 02 in consciousness. Like it would have made it a bit better too. It's like,
yeah, and talking, and that wouldn't piss you off of talking in face.
It was also kind of weird, like when he was going. Then he was so inconsiderate not to bring her fucking body.
yeah.
He fucking had it there the whole time. They walked by it when they were leaving. He could have taken her body.
They could have just had it in the thing. They just chose not.
Throwing it in the cockpit. They just chose to leave it there.
I even like the Calaxosaurus helping the queen, setting a last second thing and like, you'll launch with the real fleet. It's like, why would you launch Strel Apex then? But like, I could even get by that and like say,
Well, she needed
yeah,
to launch
okay,
Strel Apex to
that's
hold them
fine.
off.
It's just,
while the humans decide if they wanted to fight or not.
it would have been so much better if it wasn't like 8 years to get where they need to go, and it was just like a year of travel to like Mars or Jupiter or some shit.
Well, they're
And, like,
just
a big
slowly
portion of the fleet.
drifting through the universe over an unknown amount of space.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
just
and that was
doesn't-
more so to just show the growth of everyone else. That was more about everybody.
Yeah,
That 8
But you
years.
still could have had that, like their engines got shot and they're
think it was
drifting
8
back
years.
to Earth or something.
might have been like.
And
6.
as when they're drifting back to Earth, she reconstructs her body in there or something. You know, like anything.
They definitely
You could have done something better.
Yeah,
They
with
could have done
that,
magic.
that cut at the end, a final little jab
What?
of their souls just drifting. They'll
Ugh.
live another life.
And he's still blue. Why is he blue? To be an Oni, I get it, but fuck.
Blood! Drake blue blood!
Why is she red?
Because
No, she has pink hair. She's not red.
Because she needs to be an Oni. And they're doing the Oni thing. Fucking Japanese people are so goddamn stupid sometimes when they write.
Okay.
Not saying that
so-
American writers aren't fucking stupid. They rub their own cocks up their ass and get high. But you know, hey, it's why I don't watch movies anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so my final ones as the recommender.
Ooh, spicy.
Deadpool 2 is a great movie, by the way.
That's
Purely
nice. How
because
about the
they were
2000
talking
shit ones that
about-
came out between it?
I don't remember 2000 shit Deadpool movies.
Oh, there's
No, how about the
2000
2000 shit movies that came out?
Oh, apparently
Hey.
it wasn't horrible. The
That-
Ant-Man was acceptable.
That one movie that made $126 on opening day.
Okay, let's not talk. Okay, poison. I'm
Okay.
gonna start ranting. Go into the thing.
Okay. Kevin Spacey molested children.
Okay.
Okay. Hello. Sorry, I hit all of my buttons there, and I hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Watching it every week because I was one of the people that watched it on. I was excited every single week for the next episode, and then when episode 16 hit, not 16, 19.
20.
It goes 20.
20's aliens.
The episode
Aliens,
right
so
before
19.
the episode
19.
right before the doctor.
Aliens.
So I quit at the doctor episode.
Okay, so right before the doctor.
19. Yeah, 19.
Yeah, so I was on episode 19, and I saw that video title, and I just, I'll wait because I know I'm recommending this. So I'll wait, and I was glad I did because good taste on my mouth, and I didn't get to see how it turned out. But if it didn't get, because I'm okay with a little bit of trash. I'm okay with trash. Trash, you can polish it up. You can do all this kind of stuff with trash. It makes some content more viewable. High School DxD, I'm looking at you. So if it was out without the ending, I would give this a 9. It was one of the best ones I've seen so far. Now I rate Kenichi, the world's greatest disciple, at a 9.5. So it's it was the first like good anime that I've seen of because I never watched a Gundam. And now I've said that shit, I was probably gonna recommend a Gundam. All right, I know you.
Why would you say that out loud?
Oh,
I was
I'm
already
pinch-
going to do it because I was talking with Reddit about the connections
When-
like
I've been
between
talking about
this and
Gundam
G.
a lot, so I already
And I even dropped a ton of
G,
hints already.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Okay.
don't bring it up.
If that wasn't, then I would gave it. Then I came back like 2 weeks ago, watched those last 5 episodes.
Hmm.
Got really depressed by the giant booby lady,
Mm-hmm.
so I dragged it down to an 8.
Brought you down to shadows.
Yeah,
When I was like fighting to give it an 8.
yeah,
was
no,
fighting
I
to
was
give it-
fighting to give it a 9.
I was fighting to give it a 6, man. I almost gave it. I was leaning more to a 5. I decided to be nice and give it a 6.
Yes. The only anime I've ever watched that got 10, by the way, would probably have to be maybe Code Geass.
I wouldn't give Geass.
I'm still questioning that. I don't know.
Geass
You
would have
said
been
Full
mine.
Metal Alchemist was a 10. Brotherhood was a 10.
I haven't watched
So people
Brotherhood.
perceive it as a
I've
10.
only watched Full Metal Alchemist.
So watch Brotherhood is really good.
Yeah, but Full Metal Alchemist is also really good at some points, though.
Yeah, no, it's just such a horrible.
Because it has the better dog scene, and the dog scene is like the Chimera scene is like literally the whole,
dog.
like the hooker of
The
Full Metal.
beginning, look, the whole beginning of it, better in regular Full Metal. They
Yeah.
Brotherhood rushed through the whole beginning.
Mhm.
So how you would watch it, you would watch regular Full Metal Alchemist up until Edward fights Greed, because that's where they stay the same. From the start of the first show to when they fight Greed. Then after Greed is when they go in 2 different directions. Like immediately after the Greed fight, 2 different directions. And then you switch to Brotherhood because that gets better. Okay.
But the only reason I rate Code Geass that high is purely because it was the first ever real anime I watched. Naruto.
Mhm.
Naruto. Anime. I mean, it is, but it's the same way that Smash Brothers is a fighter. I'm glad Shadow got that. I don't think Reddit got it.
No, I got it. But
Okay. But it was my first ever anime, so I have a lot of good thoughts about it, and Code Mint just made it that much better.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Really depressed about this last 5 episodes.
I don't know.
I
I'm
mean,
still gonna think fondly back on the good parts of this.
I will too.
Yeah, but
That's
then
just- I will
I'm
think
still gonna,
fondly on
every time I
how
think
much of a
fondly of anything,
fucking-
I'm gonna have a bad taste in the back of my mouth. Some weird reason. What's that taste?
Yeah, my dick in your throat.
I'm glad I don't remember.
No, it's a giant pair. It's your uvula turning into a giant titty lady, and you're like, doesn't feel right.
Yep. No. Things kind of escalate in a weird direction.
And they talked to the fucking. They talked to it like it was. There's nothing wrong with talking to a 50-foot woman.
Not 50 feet. It's like the size of skyscrapers, dude.
Yeah, I
Wow.
know.
Gee, yeah.
Whew.
So,
It's such a fucking up and down. So that's it. Reddit, I believe you're up next.
yep.
Yep.
So
Or you can
gonna
continue with
finish what we're
GT.
doing,
We could save
and
that
we're
for a
just
much
gonna-
later time.
We're just gonna finish GT. Let's just get it out the way.
All right.
I'll use my picks to finish off GT so we can get the.
Good. So for next week, I don't have to watch anything.
Well, like even if next week is just kind of like a.
No, I finished GT.
Yeah, I know, but GT is such a.
I'm
like,
gonna.
It's.
I'm gonna skim over it, like, just skim through the episodes.
Mm,
Say you shouldn't have done that.
yeah, you definitely shouldn't have just
Oh,
episodes ahead.
no, because I kind of I like the final arc. So I
Again,
was just watching.
so we shouldn't
This
overwatch.
is again something I'm going to be
episodes
watching when I eat
ahead.
my meals. So
Again, boys, and you finished the whole show.
Yeah, Shadow's like a double-edged sword. Like right now, he's like, yeah, I don't like that you finished it, but I like that you liked it.
well, it's like it's the thing is like GT again. GT never going to get an 8. Maybe it can strive for a 7 because it's kind of one of those Dragon Ball has always been one of those garbagey. See what they're doing next week kind of shows like Bandit King Gen. So it's always you don't have to think too much about it. It's not serious. It's just sit back, relax, have
Good
a little bit of
entertainment.
fun. Yeah.
It's just meant to be
It's
good.
just trying to be
It's
fun, a bit of
good.
fun. So I'm always fine with Dragon Ball. It's like when even when I have problems with it, I can bitch about Dragon Ball for years. Even Super, fucking Super. Sit back, see what they're doing this week, talk some shit about it, eat some food while you're watching it. You know, that's all it is. It's entertainment. It's not trying to be something super fucking out there and crazy. No, it's just Dragon Ball. It's beams flying at people and people punching other people. Yeah, Dragon Ball. My dog's really got to go to the bathroom. Anyone have anything to say before we close out?
Kevin Spacey talks young boys.
We can definitely close.
Okay, that's great.